Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales. Chapter 42-25. Bully? Kang Xinmu was speechless when he heard that. Qin Fengyu and Qin Shouji seemed to be biological siblings, which was rare. It was rare for two siblings to be able to join Donghuang Yangwu College at the same time. At this moment, a thunderous sound was suddenly heard in the sky. Then, the blue sky split open, and countless thunderbolts surrounded it. A giant thunder divine dragon suddenly appeared in the sky and descended into this world. The giant thunder divine dragon was surrounded by thunderbolts, and its eyes were as majestic as a god's. Kang Xinmu thought to himself, is that the Dean that Qin Fengyu mentioned? In an instant, everyone looked up at the giant thunder divine dragon. If that's not the Dean, who is it? Qin Fengyu could not help but ask. Lu Hua said with a solemn expression, no matter who that is, he's a super dragon. He should be here to host our college competition. Looks like, the Dean has really retired. The appearance of the giant thunder divine dragon in the sky shocked almost all the students of Donghuang Yangwu College. Most of them were like Qin Fengyu. They were surprised and puzzled when they saw that the person who came was not the Dean from before. Isn't that the super genius who graduated 30 years ago, Zhuo Xiaofeng? Suddenly, a voice came from the crowd. Zhuo Xiaofeng, the super genius who graduated 30 years ago. From the 10th year of joining Donghuang Yangwu College, he steadily occupied the first position. In the 25th year of the college, he successfully broke through to the level of the super dragon and was brought to other places. Then, the voices of others continued to be heard. It seems like it's really that genius, Zhuo Xiaofeng. His divine dragon inheritance blood essence was the Thunderbolt Silent Dragon, and now it's even more impressive. That's for sure. He's a super dragon. I didn't expect the genius from 30 years ago to return, sigh. I was in the same batch as him back then, but he's been a super dragon for so long, while I'm still lingering at the level of the Dragon Emperor. It's almost impossible for me to break through to the level of the super dragon inheritance blood essence. There were a few seniors who were already cultivating in the innermost areas and sighed with emotion. Although the dragon martial artists who could join Donghuang Yangwu College were geniuses, there was still a huge gap between geniuses. Zhuo Xiaofeng was a genius among geniuses. At this moment, Zhuo Xiaofeng, who had transformed into the Thunderbolt Silent Dragon, descended from the sky, bringing along a hurricane and thunder. By the time he had transformed into a human form and arrived at the martial arts hall of Donghuang Yangwu College, he had become a serious young man who stood with his hands behind his back. He was Zhuo Xiaofeng. He still looked very young, just like an ordinary young man, but his entire body was surrounded by the boundless power of lightning. Even in his human form, he could still erupt with unimaginable power. Zhuo Xiaofeng's expression was solemn. After arriving at the martial arts discussion hall, he swept a glance across the hall, and his eyes did not stop on anyone. My name is Zhuo Xiaofeng. From this year onwards, I will be the Dean of Donghuang Yangwu College. Zhuo Xiaofeng's voice was filled with majesty and dominance. Now, the competition of Donghuang Yangwu College has officially begun. Students of Tianxian District, step forward. Surprisingly, this person did not have any ostentatious presence. The moment he arrived, he announced the start of the academy tournament. It seemed that he was in a hurry. If it had been the previous headmaster of the academy, he would not have been so anxious. Instead, he would have been nonchalant and would even show some concern for the cultivation of the students. However, since the dean had changed, he naturally had to follow the rules of the new dean. However, the Dragon Warrior students from the Dubhe district and the Tianxian district were all ranked in the top 10 of Donghuang Yangwu College. Generally speaking, they would prepare for a longer period of time for this competition, so they would take longer to arrive. Even now, the two districts had a total of 11 students, but not a single one of them had arrived. When Zhuo Xiaofeng announced the start of the competition, he asked the students of the Heavenly Jade District to stand up, but no one in the field stood up. What's going on? Where is she? Zhuo Xiaofeng looked around and sneered. She's here, Dean. Right at this moment, a clear and melodious voice resounded from nearby. Subsequently, a beautiful figure that could turn the world upside down transformed into a pink stream of light and descended onto the martial arts discussion hall. It's Yu Tianchang. Yu Tianchang is here. Many people's expressions changed when they saw this scene. Yu Tianchang was the highlight of the day. She was going to challenge one of the top 3. Many people believed that Yu Tianchang would be able to enter the top 3 in the academy tournament. Then, she would be able to go to the Divine Center area to practice. After a certain period of time, she would be able to break through to the Super Divine Dragon. She was a super genius. It's her. Kang Xinmu looked at Yu Tianchang's exquisite figure. The intimate contact he had with her naturally appeared in his mind. His face was a little hot. You've seen her? Qin Fengyu was a little puzzled. He's just a new student. How could he have seen Yu Tianchang? Qin Shouji couldn't help but sneer. At Yu Tianchang's level, she will be at the same level as Dean Zhuo Xiaofeng in the future. Feng Yu, even though we've been in Donghuang Yangwu College for so long, how many times have we seen Yu Tianchang? Not to mention little brother Jiang, who has just arrived. Kang Xinmu didn't say anything. But Qin Fengyu was unhappy. I'm talking to my junior brother. Why are you interrupting? Okay. Can you two stop quarreling every time you meet? The gentle young man was a little puzzled. By the way, little brother Jiang, my name is Bao Peng. Qin Shouji is like this. He doesn't target you. He just likes to bully his sister. Nonsense. I'm not bullying Feng Yu. I'm just telling the truth. Qin Shouji shook his head. He didn't admit it and sneered. Kang Xinmu secretly shook his head. This brother and sister were really outrageous. Then, they didn't have the mood to quarrel anymore. Because when Yu Tianchang arrived, Zhuo Xiaofeng was slightly stunned, and his eyes stayed on her for a long time. Then, Zhuo Xiaofeng's face became a little serious and gloomy. Do the students of Donghuang Yangwu College have no concept of time now? You, tell me who you are. He glanced at Yu Tianchang, and a hint of fondness emerged in the depths of his eyes. Chapter 42-26 Tianxian District, Yu Tianchang. Yu Tianchang said to Zhuo Xiaofeng respectfully. Well. Where are the other people from your Tianxian district? Zhuo Xiaofeng pretended to be indifferent. They should be on their way. Yu Tianchang paused and then continued, after all, according to the rules, the competition hasn't officially started yet. It will start in 2 hours, from now on, the competition will start as soon as I arrive. Don't waste time. Zhuo Xiaofeng waved his hand impatiently. I'll leave it to you. Go and inform the others to come here immediately. Those who don't arrive in 30 minutes will be disqualified. Yes. Yu Tianchang didn't expect the new dean to be so overbearing. She lowered her head and turned away. She had to get everyone to come here as soon as possible. Although she was competing with other people in Tianxian district, she wasn't afraid of fair competition. She was afraid that some people would lose the qualification to participate in the tournament, and that would be sad. When she went to get everyone, Zhuo Xiaofeng was high in the sky, looking down at the people below. Looking at these people, he seemed to think of the time when he was still in Donghuang Yangwu College. But he soon smiled faintly. That was all in the past. In the current Eastern Imperial Dragon Martial Academy, there were probably not many people who had the qualifications to stand together with him. Yu Tianchang, he narrowed his eyes and seemed to be quite interested in Yu Tianchang. Before long, Yu Tianchang informed the 10 genius students from the Tianshu district and Tianxian district. Soon, they gathered in the martial arts discussion hall. Then, all the students of Donghuang Yangwu College gathered together and stood respectfully on the square. Zhuo Xiaofan looked down at the crowd and said, "This year, no one from the Tianshu district will be disqualified. So, today, the Tianxian district will challenge the Tianshu district. If anyone wants to challenge, just tell me your name." It was simple and straightforward, without the slightest nonsense. As he said this, the 7 experts from the Tianxian district all looked at each other. Every year, today was the day that attracted the most attention, because the Tianshu district and Tianxian district's experts were the strongest in Donghuang Yangwu College. The battle between them would be of great help to the others. It might even allow them to break through the bottlenecks they had been stuck in. "Let me challenge Emperor Qin." Yu Tianchang saw that no one took the initiative to step forward, so she stepped forward and looked at the one in the middle of the 3 people in the Heaven Center area. Emperor Qin. When everyone heard the name of her opponent, they all felt that it was a little unbelievable. Emperor Qin was the strongest existence in Donghuang Yangwu College. To everyone, Emperor Qin was like a legend. There was no possibility of surpassing him. In fact, he was almost certain to become a super Shenron in the future. Although his talent was not as terrifying as Zhuo Xiaofang's, no one in Donghuang Yangwu College could compare to him. Except for Yu Tianchang. Of course, Yu Tianchang had only come to Donghuang Yangwu College for a short time. If she could defeat Emperor Qin, then her talent would be too terrifying. "Do you really want to challenge me?" Emperor Qin said lightly. He was full of majesty. He looked like a young man with a well-proportioned body. Wearing a set of black exercise clothes, he gave people a solemn and awe-inspiring feeling. He glanced at Yu Tianchang, but no emotion could be seen in his eyes. "Yes." Yu Tianchang nodded and confirmed again. "Okay." Emperor Qin laughed and took the lead to fly up into the sky. In the martial arts competition of Donghuang Yangwu College, a boundary would appear over the martial arts arena. No matter how the 2 sides fought inside the boundary, it would not affect anyone outside. The boundary was said to have existed since the founding of Donghuang Yangwu College. It was the work of the Supreme Divine Dragon, the Dragon of Calamity. Naturally, no one could break it, and no one could affect the fight. Even the likes of Zhuo Xiaofang and the former dean were unable to affect the battles within the martial competition barrier. "Now that it's decided, let's start." Zhuo Xiaofang nodded with satisfaction. His eyes were almost always on Yu Tianchang. If Yu Tianchang wins, she can join the Divine Center area. Emperor Qin, go back to the Jade area to cultivate. This was a competition that would determine their future prospects. The winner would be able to cultivate in the core area of Donghuang Yangwu College and have the fastest cultivation speed. For Yu Tiansheng and Emperor Qin, it was a matter of who would be the first to break through from the Dragon Emperor's inherited blood to the Super Dragon God level. Of course, if Emperor Qin lost, he could challenge others and try to go back to the Divine Center area. This was allowed by the rules. "I'm coming. Let's start." Yu Tianchang also flew up into the sky. Then, she saw Zhuo Xiaofang raise his hand and open the boundary with the Dean's token. The boundary surrounded Emperor Qin and Yu Tianchang. Then, both of them turned into divine dragons almost at the same time. Yu Tianchang was a pale red divine dragon. The Dragon Emperor level of inheritance blood gave her a unique majesty. As soon as she turned into a dragon, almost everyone in the field was bewitched. Heavenly Phoenix Feather Dragon. This was the divine dragon essence blood that Yu Tianchang had obtained. This was a kind of divine dragon that could charm the world. All kinds of dragon martial skills were related to charm and illusion. That's why she improved her strength after solving a memory dream, right? Kang Xinmu, who was watching the fight below, thought of this. Not long after, in the sky above, inside the boundary, the two tyrannical dragon emperor-level existences had already confronted each other head-on. That Qin Tianzi turned into a black dragon and actually used the power of darkness. His first move was an origin dragon martial skill, and it was a high-grade origin dragon martial skill. As the strongest existence in Donghuang Yangwu College, he naturally cultivated the most powerful origin dragon martial skill. In Kang Xinmu's opinion, the power that he had burst out was almost comparable to that of Chu Yueqiang and the other mentors. The only difference was that Chu Yueqiang and the other mentors had been in Donghuang Yangwu College for a long time. Although they had not reached the super divine dragon level of inheritance blood, their cultivation was at least above the 5th level of the reincarnation tribulation realm. The students of Donghuang Yangwu College were basically only in the nirvana tribulation realm. Only a few people could reach the reincarnation tribulation realm. Chapter 42-27. This was the advantage of their realms, which determined that they would always be the strongest among the students of Donghuang Yangwu College. Talent was not only reflected in the speed of absorbing the dragon mark's energy, but also in the speed of cultivation and the efficiency and speed of absorbing the spiritual qi of heaven and earth. Only when both were geniuses could they be qualified to dominate Donghuang Yangwu College. 9 Serenity's World. Emperor Qin's black dragon let out a roar, and countless streams of black light burst out from the battlefield, filled with endless killing intent. They actually transformed into a pitch-black killing intent domain that enveloped Yu Tianshang's heavenly phoenix feather dragon. 9 Serenity's World was the high-level source dragon technique recorded in Donghuang Yangwu College, and it was the strongest among the dark dragon techniques. According to Kang Xinmu's current speed of completing the missions, it would probably take him decades to exchange for the source dragon technique. However, Emperor Qin had already cultivated this origin dragon martial technique to the most perfect heaven level. As soon as the source dragon technique was used, the whole field was shrouded in black streamers. The heavenly phoenix feather dragon was trapped for a while, being eroded by countless dark forces. Emperor Qin is too strong. We can't even afford to exchange for the 9 Serenity's World, but he has cultivated it to the heaven level. He deserves to be the #1 genius of Donghuang Yangwu College. Yu Tianchang seems to be too arrogant to challenge him. That's right. In another 10 years, Yu Tianchang might be able to deal with Emperor Qin in the wild, but now, yes, senior sister Yu Tianchang's heavenly phoenix feather dragon blood essence is at a disadvantage in such a fair fight. Everyone was talking about it. They were quite optimistic about Emperor Qin's strength, and they all knew the characteristics of the heavenly phoenix feather dragon. Yu Tianchang was quite strong in large-scale battles, but she wouldn't do well in a one-on-one fight like this. Unless she launched a surprise attack in the wild and set up a psychedelic formation in advance, she might be able to pose some threat to Emperor Qin. Yu Tianchang is a bit too arrogant to challenge Emperor Qin directly. Many people had the same thought. Kang Xinmu raised his head and watched the battle inside the martial arts conference bounded domain. He was a bit nervous. After all, Yu Tianchang was someone he knew. Psychologically speaking, Kang Xinmu hoped that Yu Tianchang could win. If she won, Kang Xinmu would feel that it was effective for him to help her break through the memory dreamland. Otherwise, Kang Xinmu would feel that he owed Yu Tianshang a lot of favors. As the battle went on, Kang Xinmu found that Yu Tianchang was almost suppressed by Emperor Qin. Jiu Yu Tianshang didn't even have the strength to fight back when she made her move. Countless rays of dark energy circulated in the field, completely trapping the heavenly robed phoenix feather dragon. Black streams of light kept sweeping towards her. This 9 Serenity's World is a combination of attack and trapping. With Emperor Qin's cultivation, he can use it to create a cage of darkness. The cage will constantly produce black streams of light to attack the opponent. Observing the battle, Kang Xinmu was a little worried about Yu Tianchang. Seeing that Yu Tianchang was getting more and more exhausted in the battle, Emperor Qin didn't relax at all. His black dragon eyes were still indifferent, and he even released another 9 Serenities World. Double 9 Serenities World. Kong Xinmu was shocked when he saw this and heard the exclamations of the people around him. The 9 Serenities World could be performed in layers? Emperor Qin is really strong. The nearby Bao Peng couldn't help but sigh with emotion. So long as one's cultivation is sufficiently high, then the speed at which the 9th hell is executed would be faster. Moreover, the 9th hell would exist for a longer period of time. Supposedly, the final form of the 9th hell is the 9 levels of the 9th hell, and once it's executed, it's capable of obliterating the heavens and the earth. However, it seems that Emperor Qin can only perform the double Serenities World. Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua looked at the field and said calmly. In the field, Emperor Qin, who had transformed into a Dragon Emperor-level black dragon, looked a little exhausted after performing the double Serenities World. However, the double Serenities World in the field had been completed, and its power was almost 3 times stronger than before. The 9 Serenities World wasn't strong at the beginning, and it took time to strengthen it. After completing the first layer, he performed the second layer. This is the true essence of the 9 Serenities World, but it seems that Emperor Qin is straining himself to perform the second layer. Even Kong Xinmu could see that. But even so, Emperor Qin was already the strongest student in Donghuang Yangwu College. Kong Xinmu was a little curious. If he cultivated the 9 Serenities World to its peak and could perform the 9th layer, wouldn't he be invincible in the world? Of course, the 9 Serenities World was a high-level origin source dragon martial technique, and it was certainly not easy to cultivate it. Throughout the whole Donghuang Yangwu College, it seemed that Emperor Qin was the only one who could cultivate the 9 Serenities World to this level, which was quite rare. When the double 9 Serenities World appeared, almost everyone around gasped in admiration. In their eyes, Yu Tianchong had almost no hope of winning. But right at this moment, when the double 9 Serenities World appeared, Emperor Qin was at his most relaxed state of mind. It was also at this moment that a pink haze silently appeared in the field and inadvertently affected Emperor Qin. Phoenix Feather Dream. A phantom dragon martial technique was used. Yu Tianchong had been passively defending before, but taking advantage of Emperor Qin's relaxed state, she finally launched a counterattack. And to everyone's surprise, Yu Tianchong's attack directly hit the relaxed Emperor Qin. Then, his pair of indifferent black dragon eyes became a little confused, and his whole body swayed in the air. Even though the double 9 Serenities World had been formed, Yu Tianchong was now under great pressure, and the whole body of the heavenly robed phoenix feather dragon was constantly scratched by the black light. But Emperor Qin passed out in the duel, or rather, fell into a memory dream. She can make people fall into a memory dream. Seeing this, Kong Xinmu more or less understood why Yu Tianchong dared to challenge Emperor Qin. With this method, as long as she seized the opportunity, she could defeat anyone in one fell swoop. Even if Emperor Qin was the strongest, as long as she could resist his strongest attack, she would have a chance to win. The winner has been decided. The change happened in the blink of an eye. At this moment, Emperor Qin fell into a memory dream, and although Yu Tianchong was trapped in the double 9 Serenities World, she obviously had the power to dominate the battlefield. Only then did the heavenly robe phoenix feather dragon barely manage to use her dragon movement technique. She used her fastest speed to escape from the Jiuyo world, even though she was heavily injured. Then, she saw that Emperor Qin's black dragon body had completely lost consciousness and was falling to the ground. Since he has entered the dream, the winner is me. Chapter 42-28. Yu Tianchong won, and the situation was reversed very quickly. No one, including Kong Xinmu, had expected the duel to end like this. It could be said that the first battle of Donghuang Yangwu College had shocked everyone from the bottom of their hearts. Yu Tianchong had not been in Donghuang Yangwu College for a long time, but she had already defeated the veteran genius Emperor Qin. This showed that her talent was absolutely beyond that of ordinary geniuses. Even Zhuo Xiaofeng looked at Yu Tianchong with satisfaction in his eyes. Not bad, she has the potential to be molded. From today on, Yu Tianchong, you are the first student of Donghuang Yangwu College, and you are qualified to enter the Divine Center area. The Divine Center area, the first zone of Donghuang Yangwu College, had the richest dragon mark energy, which enabled dragon warriors to improve the level of divine dragon essence and blood at the fastest speed. Almost all the students around looked at Yu Tianchong with envy. This opportunity meant that Yu Tianchong would have a great chance in the future to successfully step from the level of Dragon Emperor to the level of Super Divine Dragon. Once she became a Super Divine Dragon, she would be at a completely different level from Dragon Emperor, and she would be qualified to step into a higher world. Yu Tianchong landed from the air, and countless people applauded her. As for Emperor Qin, he was taken away by the two mentors for treatment. Of course, Emperor Qin was not actually injured, but he had been pulled into a dream by Yu Tianchong. Therefore, he needed the help of the two mentors to wake him up. Of course, this was not important. The most important thing was that the first battle of the day had given all the students a feeling of passion. There were people who came later than others. Dragon warriors like them, who came to the college late, could also defeat the students who were ranked at the top. It all depended on one's talent and hard work. This made everyone excited, and they were all looking forward to the next battle. Maybe they would also have a chance to defeat some veteran genius students, so that they could go to a deeper area to cultivate, absorb more dragon mark energy, and improve faster. That's amazing. Senior sister Yu Tianchong is both beautiful and talented. It's not easy for anyone to win her favor. Beside Kong Xinmu, Bao Peng, who had a pretty good attitude, sighed and said with some pity. He, you want to win senior sister Yu Tianchong's favor? You must be daydreaming. Qin Shouji chuckled disdainfully. It's said that although senior sister Yu Tianchong is gentle, she keeps everyone at arm's length. So far, no one is qualified to be her real friend. Lu Hua, Chu Yi, and the others lamented and sighed when they heard this. It was especially so for Chu Yi. He really liked Yu Tianchong. Unfortunately, he knew his own worth. In Yu Tianchong's eyes, he was probably just an extremely ordinary junior brother. Kong Xinmu, on the other hand, smiled bitterly to himself. By a freak combination of factors, he unexpectedly became friends with Yu Tianchong. This was a very lucky coincidence. If Ran Ran had not coincidentally fallen into the dreamland and he had coincidentally brought Ran Ran to the charming inn, he would not have become friends with Yu Tianchong. Now, Kong Xinmu's face burned when he thought of the previous situation. After all, he and Yu Tianchong were really close in the dreamland. That level of intimacy would probably make all the male students of Donghuang Yangwu College jealous. Of course, it was impossible for him to tell everyone that he was friends with Yu Tianchong, mainly because it was not necessary. Moreover, Kong Xinmu was not sure how Yu Tianchong felt about him. Although he felt that she was a little special to him, her status was much higher than his, so it was not convenient for him to take the initiative to look for her. After Yu Tianchong defeated Emperor Qin, the battles on the first day were not worth watching. Because the number of people in the Tianshu district and the Tianxian district was very small, and most of the people's strength did not change much, no one could successfully challenge them. After the battle, Kong Xinmu returned with Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua. As for Super Dragon Zhuo Xiaofeng, the current dean of Donghuang Yangwu College, he was resting in the Dean's Hall of Donghuang Yangwu College. The entire college competition of Donghuang Yangwu College would last about half a month. During this time, Zhuo Xiaofeng would stay in Donghuang Yangwu College. When Kong Xinmu left, he vaguely heard Zhuo Xiaofeng call Yu Tianchong's name and ask her to go to the Dean's Hall. Kong Xinmu did not care much about this. As the dean, it was reasonable for Zhuo Xiaofeng to pay more attention to the students who were performing well in Donghuang Yangwu College. When he went back to rest, Kang Xinmu did not slack off at all. He kept absorbing the energy of the dragon mark. However, he did not stop absorbing. Otherwise, the method of devouring power would definitely be discovered by others. In the process of absorbing the energy of the dragon mark, he found that the grade of his divine dragon essence and blood was constantly improving, and the devouring power was becoming stronger and stronger. Although there was no trend of upgrading from Dragon King to Dragon Emperor, his actual combat power was still constantly increasing. In addition, he was now at the third level of the Nirvana Tribulation realm, so the strength of his devouring power was not weak. This time in Donghuang Yangwu College, I will first see the gap between my strength and the other students. Then I will work hard to cultivate. The most important thing is to cultivate a stronger origin source dragon martial technique. Kang Xinmu was very enthusiastic about cultivation and did not slack off at all. However, the cultivation of a dragon martial artist would not improve much in a short period of time. In the next few days, Kang Xinmu went to the central square with Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua every day to watch the challenge of Donghuang Yangwu College's competition. After watching for a few days, Kang Xinmu had a little understanding of the general strength of the students of Donghuang Yangwu College. He had to admit that his current strength was really ranked at the bottom in Donghuang Yangwu College. In other words, he was obviously ranked at the bottom 50% among all the students of Donghuang Yangwu College. This made it almost impossible for him to break through in Donghuang Yangwu College and enter the next area to cultivate. However, he still wanted to give it a try. After all, his devouring power was relatively special. In the case of not exposing that he could devour the flesh and blood essence of others, he might still have a way to win. Once he won, it meant that his cultivation speed would be greatly improved in the future. 10 days later. It was finally the outermost Alcade district's turn to fight. Chapter 42-29. Donghuang Yangwu College, Martial Arts Arena Square. More than 200 students were gathered here, much less than on the first day. Because it was a battle between the Alcade district and the Kaiyang district, few dragon martial artists from other stronger districts came to watch. Kang Xinmu, Qin Fengyu, and Lu Hua came together. Before coming, they had already decided who their opponents would be. Of course, the specific situation would have to wait and see. After all, the opponents they had chosen were the weakest in the Kaiyang district. It was very likely that they would be challenged by others in advance. Once they were defeated, they would not be able to choose that opponent again. Today is the final segment of the Donghuang Yangwu College's tournament. The new dean, Zhuo Xiaofeng, appeared in front of everyone. His expression was cold and emotionless. To him, the dragon martial artists from the Alcade district and the Kaiyang district were too weak. Besides those who had just joined the Donghuang Yangwu College, the students who were still in the Alcade district had almost no hope. To be honest, Zhuo Xiaofeng could not be bothered to watch today's battle. However, the Donghuang Yangwu College's tournament still needed someone to host it. As the new dean, he had to be present. Now, the students in the Kaiyang district are all here, right? Zhuo Xiaofeng glanced at everyone and said lightly, "Since you're all here, don't waste time. Those from the Alcade district, step forward and challenge them. I'll go first. I challenge Lin Yuji." In order to be the first to pick a weaker opponent, Lu Hua was the first to step forward. He stood up and challenged his opponent with a calm expression. "Lin Yuji, that kid wants to challenge you, he. Not bad, not bad. Even if Lin Yuji is the weakest among us, we can't be underestimated by that kid. Yuji, teach that kid a lesson." Amidst the laughter, a pretty girl with snow-white skin walked out from the crowd of Kaiyang district students. Lin Yuji was considered one of the weaker ones in the Kaiyang district because she had only fought her way up from the Alcade district last year. Therefore, this year, many students in the Alcade district had set their sights on her. As long as they could defeat her, they would be able to train in the Mizar district for at least a year. This was a huge temptation. When Lin Yuji walked out from the crowd, there was no trace of emotion on her face. She just looked at Lu Hua, who had challenged her, and said indifferently, "Come on." As soon as he finished speaking, both sides transformed into dragon warriors. The realms of both sides seemed to be about the same. Furthermore, both of them had inherited the blood essence of the divine dragon at the level of the Dragon King. At first glance, this should be an evenly matched battle. However, Lin Yuji had been cultivating in Mizar district for the past year and had absorbed a lot of energy from the dragon mark, allowing her divine dragon blood essence to faintly suppress flowing essence. After both of them turned into divine dragons, all sorts of dragon martial techniques were unleashed, roaring and sweeping the entire place like a storm. Kang Xinmu and Qin Fengyu stood together and watched the battle in the square nervously. "Lu Hua, do your best." Qin Fengyu clenched her small fists and watched the fierce battle in the square, her small face flushed red. Kang Xinmu was not as excited as her. He just watched the battle between Lu Hua and Lin Yuji and soon found that flowing essence was gradually falling into a disadvantage. Both of them were about the same realm, and the divine dragon blood essence was also of the same level. However, Lin Yuji had absorbed more energy from the dragon mark. Although the divine dragon blood essence was still that of the Dragon King, it was much stronger than flowing essence. The key was that the dragon martial technique that Lin Yuji cultivated seemed to be much stronger than flowing essence. She had cultivated an origin dragon martial technique, and its lethality seemed to be extremely tyrannical. It made Kang Xinmu shudder with fear. If he was on the field, he might not be able to block the other party's attack. Of course, he was just not sure. He just felt that the other party was very strong. Lu Hua used all sorts of defensive methods to barely block the other party's attack. However, it could be seen that he was constantly being defeated. If there wasn't a turning point like the battle between Yu Tianchang and Emperor Qin, Lu Hua might not be able to win. Damn it! Qin Fengyu was a little unhappy. It's just a little bit, why can't I win? Lu Hua was a little stronger than her. If even Lu Hua was no match for Lin Yuji, then she was no match for Lin Yuji. However, as Kang Xinmu observed the situation in the field, he could see that although Lin Yuji's attack was strong, there were many flaws in her defense. Moreover, that attack might not be able to break Kang Xinmu's physical defense. Currently, Jiang Shenwu had cultivated the Chaos Dragon body, the Magic Crystal body, the Iron Blood Dragon body, and various other dragon-type martial techniques. Jiang Shenwu's defensive capabilities were extremely high. In addition to the martial dragon god's shield, his defense was basically unparalleled. Maybe I can go up and give it a try. Kang Xinmu thought to himself. After about the time it took to drink a cup of tea, flowing essence was finally defeated. His divine dragon body was full of wounds, and he was knocked out of the field. This caused the Kaiyang district dragon martial artists to laugh out loud. It was obvious that Lin Yuji was considered a popular person in the Kaiyang district. After all, she was a newcomer who had just stepped into the Kaiyang district, and she was also a beautiful girl. Naturally, there were many people who would pursue her. However, before they could finish laughing, Kang Xinmu stood up and said, "I challenge Lin Yuji." These words caused many people to be stunned. Then, they glanced at Kang Xinmu and saw that he was only at the third level of the Nirvana Tribulation realm. They all laughed out loud. Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua, Bao Peng, Qin Shouji, and Chu Yi, who were originally beside Kang Xinmu, also widened their eyes in confusion. Kang Xinmu, it's obvious that Lin Yuji's strength is considered relatively strong in the Kaiyang district. There's no need for you to choose her as your opponent. Qin Fengyu was a little speechless. Good, as expected of my brother Jiang, you have guts. Chu Yi laughed out loud. Come on, brother Jiang, I think highly of you. He had always felt that Kang Xinmu's talent was somewhat different from ordinary people. He thought that he could finally see Kang Xinmu's strength now. However, Qin Shouji immediately sneered, little brother, how long has it been since you came to Donghuang Yangwu College? I didn't believe you when you said that you signed up for the competition. Now, it seems that you really want to challenge the seniors of the Kaiyang district? Listen to my advice, it's not too late to admit defeat now. There's no need to go up and smash your head until it bleeds. That's right. Bao Peng's attitude was relatively gentle. She said with certainty, don't mention that you're only at the 3rd level of the Nirvana Tribulation realm. Just now, your friend Lu Hua was several levels stronger than you, but didn't she still lose to Lin Yuji in the end? It's fine, I'll go up and give it a try. Even if I can't beat her, it's not shameful to lose. Kang Xinmu said with a smile. He didn't care too much about it. He originally just wanted to give it a try and didn't have the confidence to win. Chapter 42:30. Kang Xinmu appeared. As soon as he appeared, he attracted the attention of countless people around him. However, the current dean of Donghuang Yangwu College, Zhuo Xiaofan, who was in the highest position, did not pay much attention to him. To him, Kang Xinmu was just a small student who had just entered Donghuang Yangwu College. There were students like him almost every year, so there was no need to pay attention to him at all. As Lin Yuji has just accepted a challenge, I will enhance Lin Yuji's strength in Kang Xinmu's challenge this time. Zhuo Xiaofang said faintly and raised his hand. A burst of power gathered from the sky and landed on Lin Yuji's head. Lin Yuji's figure was slender, and after receiving that energy, her aura suddenly became much stronger than before. This was the rule of Donghuang Yangwu College's tournament. If someone accepted the challenge continuously, then their strength would be enhanced. With the strength of the dean who presided over the tournament, it was too easy to enhance the strength of such a dragon martial artist. It was not difficult to even double her strength. However, if it was only the 2nd time she accepted the challenge, the increase in strength would only be about 20%. Even so, it made Lin Yuji's aura suddenly different. It was obvious that Lin Yuji did not consume too much strength when she accepted Lu Hua's challenge. Therefore, this enhancement made the threat Kang Xinmu faced greater and the difficulty of defeating Lin Yuji increased by a lot. The original intention of this rule of the school tournament was to prevent students from using the tactic of attrition to defeat their opponents. However, this was extremely bad news for Kang Xinmu now. However, Kang Xinmu did not fight this battle with the mentality of winning. When he transformed into a dragon and flew into the sky and entered the martial arts barrier with Lin Yuji, countless people around laughed. Lin Yuji has just defeated Lu Hua. It can be seen that she is very strong. How can a mere new student challenge her? In my opinion, Kang Xinmu is obviously helping senior sister Lin Yuji get rid of the obstacles. That's right. If senior sister Lin Yuji wins easily, then if someone challenges senior sister Lin Yuji again, senior sister's strength will increase by 40%. The students of the Dragon Martial School were all chatting and laughing, not taking Kang Xinmu's challenge to Lin Yuji seriously at all. On the other hand, Chu Yi was looking forward to Kang Xinmu's performance. Alas, junior brother Shenwu is too impulsive. He's only at the 3rd level of the Nirvana Tribulation realm. How could he possibly be a match for Lin Yuji? Qin Fengyu was a little anxious now. Lu Hua had just been defeated by Lin Yuji and had a deep understanding of Lin Yuji's strength. He nodded and said, Lin Yuji's strength has already exceeded my original expectations. This time, I'm afraid junior brother Shenwu. Lu Hua's expression also became extremely solemn as she had a bad premonition. Don't worry. Even if this kid loses, he won't lose too badly. Chu Yi, on the other hand, was looking forward to Kang Xinmu's performance. He said with a smile, from the first time I saw this kid, I knew he was different from ordinary people. How can he be different? Qin Shouji, who was beside him, snorted coldly. He looked at Kang Xinmu and Lin Yuji, who were in the martial competition barrier, with a face full of ridicule. I want to see how this guy is going to fight with Lin Yuji. Qin Shouji was currently only cultivating in the Alcade district. He had already challenged many times but had not succeeded in stepping into the Mizar district. It could be seen that he had a very deep understanding of the strength of the students in the Mizar district. He had also seen Lin Yuji's performance just now. Unless Kang Xinmu could defy the heavens, he didn't think that Kang Xinmu would have a way to win with Lin Yuji's 20% increase in strength. In the martial competition barrier, Kang Xinmu didn't care about the outside world's judgment of him at all, nor did he care about others' opinions. Instead, he was observing the flow of Lin Yuji's aura with an extremely solemn expression. At this moment, there was a commotion in the crowd below, which distracted Kang Xinmu a little. Then he saw an extremely beautiful and graceful figure appear in his field of vision. Yu Tianchang? Kang Xinmu was a little surprised. He didn't expect Yu Tianchang to come at this time. Moreover, Yu Tianchang seemed to have come specially to watch him fight. Her pair of beautiful eyes lingered on him with a kind of mysterious feeling. Obviously, Yu Tianchang wanted to know what kind of combat power Kang Xinmu had in the real world. Previously in the memory dream, Yu Tianchang relied on Kang Xinmu to pass that level. Now, she wanted to see how capable Kang Xinmu was. Kang Xinmu didn't pay too much attention to this. However, many people around had a look of disbelief when they saw Yu Tianchang's beautiful eyes lingering on Kang Xinmu as soon as she appeared. A goddess like Yu Tianchang, who was now the #1 person in Donghuang Yangwu College, had made a special trip to watch Kang Xinmu's fight? Was there really something special about Kang Xinmu? It's starting. When Yu Tianchang appeared and focused her attention on Jiang Xinwu, Zhou Xiaofan, who was above, seemed a little unhappy. However, he didn't show too much concern. He said coldly, "Let the fight begin. Be careful." Lin Yuji didn't look down on Kang Xinmu just because he was a new student. Because she was also a new student who had just come to Donghuang Yangwu College. She knew very well that as long as one was talented enough, it wouldn't take long for his combat strength to soar in Donghuang Yangwu College. Even if Kang Xinmu was only at the 3rd level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm, Lin Yuji would still go all out. Then, Lin Yuji instantly turned into a white jade-like divine dragon. Her whole body emitted a white jade-like light, which formed countless flowing sword shadows, which shrouded Kang Xinmu's black dragon body. Origin Dragon Martial Technique, Jade Shadow. This was the Origin Dragon martial technique she had used to defeat Lu Hua. She went all out in the first move, showing no intention of looking down on Kang Xinmu. Naturally, Kang Xinmu was even more cautious. Seeing that his opponent had directly launched the most powerful dragon martial technique, the devouring power in his body suddenly burst out. Martial Dragon Shield. This was a 2nd-grade defensive dragon martial technique, which was the strongest defensive dragon martial technique Kang Xinmu had cultivated. It was naturally impossible for an ordinary person to use this method to resist Lin Yuji's Jade Shadow Origin Dragon martial technique. But for Kang Xinmu, the martial dragon shield was only used to weaken part of the power of his opponent's dragon martial technique. What he really used to defend against his opponent's attack was his body-refining dragon martial technique, Chaotic Dragon Body. However, none of the spectators knew this. After all, very few people cultivated body-refining dragon martial techniques nowadays. Chapter 42-31. Am I seeing this right? A 2nd-grade defensive dragon technique? How dare this kid challenge senior sister Lin Yuji? With his 2nd-grade dragon technique, even if he cultivates it to the peak, he won't be able to withstand senior sister's attack. Hee hee. Looks like this kid is really a newborn calf that isn't afraid of tigers. He just entered the Eastern Emperor Dragon Martial Academy and hasn't even cultivated the Origin Dragon Martial technique, yet he dares to challenge the Mizar district's senior sister. What an idiot. A large group of students mocked him mercilessly. For them, Lin Yuji was the girl that many of them liked and pursued. However, Kang Xinmu, an ignorant new student, dared to challenge their goddess. In their eyes, he was courting death. Lin Yuji was beautiful. Moreover, she had just entered Donghuang Yangwu College and was able to challenge Kaiyang District. She had a bright future. Many male students of Donghuang Yangwu College had already regarded her as a goddess. Of course, in comparison, Yu Tianchang was the real goddess. Those students didn't even dare to think about her. However, they could still pursue Lin Yuji if they worked hard. Little sister, this junior brother of yours who doesn't know what he's talking about is really an eye-opener. Qin Shouji, who was beside Qin Fengyu, couldn't help but laugh out loud. Alas, why is it a second-grade defensive dragon technique? Bao Peng was also a little disappointed. He hadn't expressed any opinion before, but now he also felt that Kang Xinmu's challenge to Lin Yuji was simply a joke. Junior brother just entered Donghuang Yangwu College not long ago. How could he have so many resources to exchange for the Origin Source Dragon technique? Qin Fengyu snorted. She didn't look very good, but she still stood firmly on Kang Xinmu's side. Hee, little sister, you're so stubborn. Qin Shouji curled his lips and said, he knows that he's no match for her, but he still went up to challenge her. Your junior brother is a fool. Qin Fengyu couldn't refute this. After all, judging from the situation, Kang Xinmu's black dragon was no match for Lin Yuji's white jade dragon. However, everyone was dumbfounded as soon as Qin Shouji finished speaking. In the martial arts competition boundary in the sky. Although Kang Xinmu had just condensed his Dragon Martial God Shield using a Grade 2 Dragon Martial skill, it was shattered by Lin Yuji's Jade Light Shadow. But right after that, the countless white jade-like streams of light attacked Kang Xinmu's pitch-black dragon body, but they didn't kill him as expected. The white jade-like flowing light swept over and landed on Kang Xinmu's mystical dragon body. Although his mystical dragon body was slightly injured, it did not have the crushing effect that Kang Xinmu had imagined. Kang Xinmu's pitch-black divine dragon body was bleeding profusely, and he appeared to be in a very sorry state. However, his appearance was clearly much better than everyone had expected. What's going on? What trick did this kid use? It's clearly a Grade 2 defensive dragon martial skill. It can't possibly weaken senior sister Lin Yuji's offensive dragon martial skill by so much, right? That's right, senior sister's offensive dragon martial skill has been cultivated to the heaven grade. The other students widened their eyes in disbelief. Very quickly, a student seemed to have thought of something and exclaimed in surprise, this Jiang Shenwu couldn't have cultivated some body-tempering dragon martial technique, right? Body refining dragon martial skill? That's possible. Is he an idiot? The body-refining dragon martial skill can only be used to get beaten up, and it can't even be used to protect friends and family. What's the use of cultivating it? That's right, isn't this the crippled dragon martial skill? And to cultivate the body-refining dragon martial skill to a higher level, one has to keep getting beaten up, get injured, and then recover. Could this kid be a masochist? No matter what, a dragon martial artist who cultivates the body-refining dragon martial skill will never have any prospects in this life. It was obvious that even in Donghuang Yangwu College, these dragon martial artists did not think that the body-refining dragon martial skill was of any use. After all, the defensive dragon martial skill was more flexible in battle, and it could also help to protect friends and family around, so the effect was much better. Under the same limited resources, the dragon martial artists naturally prioritized the defensive dragon martial skill. As for the body-refining dragon martial skill, many people were too lazy to cultivate it even if they had the time. After all, cultivating the body-refining dragon martial skill required too much pain. Looking at it now, many people could already be sure that Kang Shinmu's body-refining dragon martial skill had been cultivated to a very high level. But when he was attacked by Lin Yuji, his body was still covered in blood, dripping with fresh blood. This was the reason why no one cultivated the body-refining dragon martial skill. Many people looked at Kang Shinmu's miserable appearance, as if they felt pain, and could not help but shiver. However, inside the martial arts competition boundary, Kang Shinmu did not feel anything strange at all, as if it was not his body that was injured. Very good. Using the devouring power to cast the martial dragon divine shield, not only weakened the opponent's attack by 30%, but also allowed me to absorb the opponent's nirvana force. Now, my resistance to Lin Yuji's nirvana force is even stronger. Kang Shinmu thought to himself. Even though Lin Yuji did not show any mercy when she attacked, and had already increased her strength by 20%, at this moment, Kang Shinmu was still able to resist the opponent's attack. It seems that Lin Yuji's strength is only a little stronger than when I first met Ran Ran. Kang Shinmu thought to himself. The only difference was that when he fought with Ran Ran in the wild, he could use the devouring power to absorb the life force essence of the surrounding vegetation to ensure his own strength. But now, inside the martial arts competition boundary, there was no vegetation essence for him to absorb. In addition, because Lin Yuji had been challenged once, her strength had increased by 20%, and she was stronger than Ran Ran. Fortunately, Kang Shinmu's strength was also much stronger than before. He let out a muffled groan, and the pitch-black divine dragon body roared, and then quickly rushed towards Lin Yuji. What? Lin Yuji, who had transformed into the white jade dragon, was a little surprised. Obviously, she did not expect Kang Shinmu to be a dragon martial artist who cultivated the body-refining dragon martial skill. Now it seemed that dragon martial artists who cultivated the body-refining dragon martial skill were really tough. In Lin Yuji's view, she only used one move, and Kang Shinmu was seriously injured without dodging. If it was someone else, they would have long lost their fighting spirit. Since that's the case, I'll let you know the difference in strength. Lin Yuji looked coldly at the pitch-black dragon body that Kang Shinmu had transformed into approaching. The white jade dragon body once again burst out with light, and the source dragon martial skill, Jade Luminous Shadow, burst out again. Countless white streams of light swept towards Kang Shinmu, but this time, Kang Shinmu did not bite the bullet and fight head-on. Instead, extreme shadow flowing light. Chapter 42-33. Kang Shinmu dodged Lin Yuji's attack perfectly. The countless white jade-like streams of light bombarded the edge of the martial arts conference boundary, causing a burst of white light that was as resplendent as the scorching sun. It could be seen that if Kang Shinmu were to be hit by this attack, he would not just be severely injured. Good job, he dodged it. Among the spectating students, Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua clenched their fists tightly, looking a little excited. Although they felt that Kang Shinmu would definitely lose, they did not wish for Kang Shinmu to lose too badly and lose too much face. And now, Kang Shinmu had dodged his opponent's attack. Such a result was already quite good. At least the specialty of Lin Yuji's Jade Shadow Origin Dragon was its speed. Kang Shinmu was able to dodge this time not because of the movement dragon itself, but because he had calculated in advance. He knew that Lin Yuji would attack him, and he also knew the specific situation of Lin Yuji's attack. Therefore, he could calculate in advance and dodge directly. If he had waited for Lin Yuji to attack again before dodging, he would not have been able to do so. Therefore, it was obvious that Kang Shinmu's dodge just now was definitely a stroke of genius in this challenge. Of course, even so, in the eyes of the majority of the students, Kang Shinmu was just struggling at death's door. In front of Lin Yuji, even if he could dodge once, so what? After dodging once, Lin Yuji would pay attention and would not give Kang Xinmu any more chances. He just dodged once, what else can he do? Qin Shoji laughed coldly, completely disregarding Kang Xinmu. You dare to challenge Lin Yuji with such insignificant skills? What a joke. This time, Qin Fengyu really could not be bothered with her brother. She just had a feeling that she could not calm down. She really hoped that Kang Xinmu would be able to defeat Lin Yuji this time, so that she could vent her anger and take down her brother's arrogance. Unfortunately, no matter how optimistic Qin Fengyu was, it was impossible for him to think that Kang Xinmu could defeat Lin Yuji. The students were all looking at this challenge as if it was a joke. Yu Tianchang was the only one who stood tall and graceful amidst the crowd. She was like a celestial maiden who stood aloof from the world. She stood out from the rest of the crowd and gave off an otherworldly feeling. She gently pursed her lips and watched the battle in the barrier of the martial arts conference. Her attention was completely focused on Kang Xinmu. She wanted to know what was so special about Kang Xinmu. In the arena, within the martial competition boundary, Kang Xinmu dodged Lin Yuji's attack, causing her to become serious. Previously, she had attacked with all her strength, but after severely injuring Kang Xinmu with one move, she had obviously slacked off a little. Otherwise, Kang Xinmu wouldn't have been able to dodge her second attack. I've dodged it once, but there won't be a second time. Lin Yuji sneered coldly and was about to attack for the third time. However, at this moment, she saw Jiang Shenwu suddenly turn his head and change his direction. A pitch-black nirvana force swept towards the direction of her jade silhouette's attack just now. Soon, the pitch-black and somewhat mysterious nirvana force completely enveloped the power that she had used to attack the barrier of the martial arts conference for the second time. Lin Yuji was a little puzzled. What was Kang Xinmu trying to do? The nirvana force had already left her body, so she couldn't feel anything strange. But soon, Kang Xinmu's pitch-black nirvana force swallowed all the power. This time, Kang Xinmu's resistance to Lin Yuji's power became stronger. Lin Yuji's nirvana force belonged to the light attribute and had a kind of sacred aura within it. And after Kang Xinmu had swallowed his opponent's attack of the dragon origin skill twice, he could already feel that his resistance to the light attribute had at least doubled. If Lin Yuji had been able to seriously injure him before, she would probably only be able to cause some minor injuries now. This made Kang Xinmu heave a sigh of relief. At this level, even if he lost, he wouldn't lose too badly. Shadow Dragon Sky Raising Strike. In the next moment, Kang Xinmu turned around as fast as he could. His pitch-black divine dragon body swam in the air. Then, 6 figures appeared from the void and appeared in the martial arts conference boundary. The dragon heads were all aimed at Lin Yuji. Break! The Shadow Dragon Sky Raising Strike was a dragon origin skill that had been cultivated to the highest level by Kang Xinmu. This was Kang Xinmu's strongest attack. There was no doubt that the dragon martial artists who could enter Donghuang Yangu College were not ordinary people. Without the Shadow Dragon Sky Raising Strike, even if Kang Xinmu had the devouring power, it would probably be difficult for him to stand out in the Holy Tower of the Fire Dragon and obtain the East Emperor Seal, which was the qualification to enter Donghuang Yangu College. When the surrounding people saw Jiang Shenwu execute this move, they all came to a sudden realization. Originally, they thought that Kang Xinmu was not even qualified to enter Donghuang Yangu College with this little bit of strength. But now that they saw him display the dragon origin skill that had been cultivated to the heaven level, they realized that Kang Xinmu had some level of strength. Of course, this little bit of strength was not enough to make the students below look at him in a different light. Because which of the students who could enter Donghuang Yangu College had not cultivated the dragon origin skill at the heaven level? Kang Xinmu's performance at this moment was completely within their expectations. Moreover, they did not think that Kang Xinmu would have the chance to turn the tables and defeat Lin Yuji. The Shadow Dragon Sky-Raising Strike and the 6 Void Shadows released the pitch-black Devouring Dragon Cannon at the same time, blasting towards Lin Yuji in the center. Although the Shadow Dragon Sky-Raising Strike was a little slow, it won in terms of power. Even Lin Yuji did not dare to stay in place and take on Kang Shinmu's attack head-on. She transformed into a white jade dragon and flashed towards the direction that she thought was the best at the fastest speed. Like a white jade dragon, her movements were agile. But looking at the direction she flashed towards, Kang Shinmu was secretly delighted. He had purposely adjusted the direction of the Void Dragon Heaven-Raising Break to force her towards that direction. As for the goal, it was naturally that Kang Shinmu wanted to get close to his opponent. Only then could Kang Shinmu have the slightest chance of winning. Loud noises rang out everywhere. The speed of the Shadow Dragon Sky-Raising Strike was too slow, allowing Lin Yuji to dodge it completely. But immediately after, Kang Shinmu's black dragon body quickly moved forward, foreseeing the place that Lin Yuji was about to reach. Then, a pair of dragon claws tightly gripped Lin Yuji's body. Shadow Dragon Fang Transformation. The dragon martial technique with extremely strong penetrating power suddenly erupted at this moment. As long as Lin Yuji's body was slightly injured, Kang Shinmu would be able to find an opportunity to take advantage of. Chapter 42-34. Defensive Dragon Martial Technique, White Flower Imperial Crystal. In an instant, countless white lights condensed around Lin Yuji's white jade divine dragon form, forming a layer of extremely strong defensive crystal. These defensive crystals were like white translucent crystals, enveloping Lin Yuji within. Kang Shinmu's Shadow Dragon Tooth Transformation, the countless shadow dragon teeth formed by the devouring power bombarded the white flower imperial crystal, but there was no reaction at all, and all of them were reflected. On the snow-white defensive crystal, there was not a single mark. So strong. The strength in Jiang Shenwu's entire body seemed to have blasted onto an impenetrable wall, and it was even to the extent that the recoil almost caused him to spit blood. Lin Yuji had actually cultivated this defensive origin dragon martial technique to the heaven grade. This was already the highest level of the dragon martial technique cultivation, which meant that Lin Yuji's execution of this dragon martial technique was already at the point of perfection. Not to mention his grade 3 dragon martial technique, Shadow Dragon Tooth Transformation, even if his Shadow Dragon Sky-Raising Break bombarded the white flower imperial crystal, it would not be able to shake it at all. This caused Kang Shinmu's face to darken. It seemed that Lin Yuji's strength had far exceeded his imagination. Just this defensive dragon martial technique alone was something he could not break no matter what. No, it's still hard to say now. As long as I can withstand her attack and not die in her hands, then sooner or later I can break her defense. Kang Shinmu did not lose confidence. After the Shadow Dragon Tooth Transformation was completely blocked by the opponent, endless pitch-black devouring power surged out of his body, climbing onto the white flower imperial crystal. This white flower imperial crystal, which contained the opponent's extremely rich power essence, immediately began to be devoured by Kang Shinmu's Nirvana devouring power. Before Kang Shinmu reached the Nirvana Tribulation Realm, although his devouring power was powerful, there were still many limitations. For example, he could not directly devour the opponent's dragon martial technique power, etc. But now, his devouring power had turned into Nirvana devouring power, and could even devour the opponent's dragon martial technique power. Of course, devouring the power of his opponent's dragon martial technique could only strengthen Kang Shinmu's resistance against his opponent's power, but it could not allow him to harm his opponent. However, as long as Kang Shinmu could withstand any of his opponent's attacks, as long as he persevered, there was a chance that he could win. What kind of power is this? Lin Yuji felt that her White Heaven Imperial Crystal Defense Crystal was being nibbled away bit by bit. She had never encountered such a situation before. Although the speed at which the White Flower Imperial Crystal's defensive crystal was being nibbled away was very slow, Kang Shinmu's mysterious power had already alerted her. She didn't withdraw the White Flower Imperial Crystal, fearing that she would be caught off guard. At the same time, countless streams of light condensed around the White Jade Divine Dragon that she had transformed into and shot towards Kang Shinmu, who was grabbing onto her with his dragon claws. It was the origin dragon martial technique that had been cultivated to the heaven realm, Jade Shadow. The terrifying power came crashing down once again. At this time, Kang Shinmu had not fully recovered from his previous injuries. If he was attacked like this again, his life would be in danger. At this moment, the spectating dragon martial artist students saw that Kang Shinmu was facing another attack, and he didn't seem to be dodging at all. They immediately became a little nervous. It was nothing new for someone to die in the academy tournament. After all, it was very easy to lose control in a battle like this. If one accidentally killed someone, there was no way to hold anyone accountable. However, most of the dragon martial artist students present had not seen someone die in the academy tournament. Hence, they were still a little nervous, and their hearts were beating faster. It wasn't that they were worried about Kang Shinmu, but that one side being killed in the academy tournament was always a hot topic. If they witnessed it with their own eyes, it would be a good topic to talk about in the future. At this moment, seeing that Kang Shinmu didn't dodge and Lin Yuji launched another attack, the terrifying power coming towards Kang Shinmu made everyone's eyes widen. He's going to die. Most of the students had the same thought. But immediately after, whether it was those who were worried about Kang Shinmu or those who didn't care about his life or death, the expressions on their faces changed again. This was because they saw that the Source Dragon martial skill Jade Shadow, which had severely injured Kang Shinmu the first time, couldn't blast him away when it hit Kang Shinmu this time. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell that Lin Yuji's attack was stronger than the first time due to the close distance between them. However, the black dragon body that Kang Shinmu had transformed into did not move at all after taking this attack. He continued to use his dragon claws to grab Lin Yuji's defensive crystal. The pitch-black nirvana force enveloped the white defensive crystal, exuding an endless and mysterious aura. He's still injured, but it's not serious. Yes, his injury has indeed worsened, but compared to the first time, it's like an itch. How can this be? It can't be that senior sister Lin Yuji's attack has weakened. Could it be that that kid has some evil tricks and cultivated some strange body-refining dragon martial skill? At this moment, countless people were looking at the barrier of the martial arts conference, and they all felt a sense of disbelief. They really didn't expect Kang Shinmu to be able to withstand Lin Yuji's attack. But then, Lin Yuji seemed to realize that her attack didn't work, so she used the terrifying dragon martial skill again as fast as she could. Jade Shadow. More and more white jade light condensed from the surroundings, broke through the void, and bombarded Kang Shinmu's body. But at this moment, the more nirvana force Kang Shinmu absorbed, the stronger his resistance against Lin Yuji's power was. In addition to the body-refining dragon martial skill that he cultivated, after 3 to 5 times, he could completely withstand Lin Yuji's attack. So much so that Kang Shinmu even used some of the power that he had devoured earlier to recover from his injuries. Although his entire black dragon body still looked blood-stained, but in fact, his injuries had mostly recovered, and all this was achieved in a short period of time. Devouring nirvana force had already made Kang Shinmu an invincible existence in the process of fighting against Lin Yuji. Even if Lin Yuji had increased her power by 20%, as long as she couldn't kill Kang Shinmu once, she would never be able to kill Kang Shinmu. What's going on? Lin Yuji felt that Kang Shinmu didn't suffer any more serious injuries from her attack, and she felt that it was incredible. Chapter 42-35. Initially, Lin Yuji did not think that Kang Shinmu was particularly strong in any aspect. But now, she realized that Kang Xinmu's strength was definitely not as simple as it seemed on the surface. Although Kang Xinmu's cultivation realm was a few levels lower than hers, his combat strength did not lose to hers at all. Jade Shadow. The Source Dragon martial technique that was cultivated to the extreme erupted once again, and countless white jade streams of light swept toward Kang Xinmu's black dragon body. However, no matter how much power was bombarded, Kang Xinmu's black dragon body did not suffer any more serious damage in the end. He was like a maggot attached to Lin Yuji's white jade divine dragon body, and the pitch-black devouring power continuously devoured the other party's defensive crystal power. In this state, both parties were in a complete stalemate. However, Lin Yuji had a vague feeling that Kang Xinmu's strength was becoming stronger and stronger in this state. What's going on? She had never seen such a situation before, and she became extremely nervous. If she lost this time, she would fall back to the Jade Light District to cultivate, and her improvement speed would obviously be slightly slower. It was at this moment of stalemate. Lin Yuji suddenly felt that her strength had suddenly increased again. This is, the Dean's strength? Lin Yuji was stunned, and the white jade divine dragon that she had transformed into looked back at Xiaofan, who was above, only to see that there was no expression on Xiaofang's face. At this moment, she just happened to erupt with the Jade Shadow Dragon martial technique, which contained the strength that Xiaofang enhanced for her. The power of this move was at least 3 times stronger than the Jade Shadow Dragon she had displayed previously. When the countless white jade streams of light bombarded Kang Xinmu's body, Kang Xinmu instantly felt as if his divine dragon body was being torn apart, and his entire body was about to be crushed. His divine dragon body was covered in countless bone-deep wounds from the Jade Shadow Dragon attack, and even his dragon body's internal organs suffered great damage. This sudden explosion of power made Kang Xinmu feel incredulous. He was certain that this power did not belong to Lin Yuji, or he would have long been defeated. What was going on? Kang Xinmu did not know. He only knew that when he was attacked by this move, he felt dizzy and completely lost consciousness. The black dragon's body was heavily injured, and it fell down powerlessly. Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua were the first to react. They stepped forward with grave and worried expressions and transformed into divine dragons to catch Kang Xinmu's black dragon body. Lin Yuji wins, Kang Xinmu loses. In the sky, Xiaofang expressionlessly announced the result of the battle. At the same time, he reminded everyone, if anyone else wishes to challenge Lin Yuji's strength will be increased by 50%. Everyone, please consider carefully. At this point, of course, no one would challenge Lin Yuji anymore. If he could challenge the current Lin Yuji and win, then he might as well challenge the experts in the Yuheng district. There was still a chance of winning, and he could also go to the Yuheng district, where the dragon mark energy was denser. Who would challenge Lin Yuji again? In other words, Lin Yuji's cultivation place in the Mizar district was saved. However, when Lin Yuji returned to her human form and landed on the ground, she turned around to look at the heavily injured Jiang Shenwu. There was a complicated look in her eyes. Only she knew that she did not defeat Kang Xinmu with her own strength. If the stalemate continued, she really did not know what other means Kang Xinmu would have, and there was still a possibility that he could turn the tide. However, the Dean seems to have a problem with Kang Xinmu. Lin Yuji didn't know what was going on, but it was impossible for her to say it in public. Seeing that Lin Yuji had won, the surrounding dragon martial artists mocked Kang Xinmu even more. In their eyes, this result was completely reasonable. In the crowd, Yu Tiansheng was the only one who frowned slightly. She sensed that something was wrong. But she was not quite sure about the specifics. Seeing that Kang Xinmu was seriously injured, she subconsciously felt nervous, but when she saw Lu Hua and Qin Fengyu coming forward to catch Kang Xinmu, she was relieved. After taking a deep look at Kang Xinmu, Yu Tianchang turned around and left. As for the following school competition, it had nothing to do with her. Kang Xinmu slowly woke up from his coma. He opened his eyes with difficulty and vaguely saw that he had returned to his bedroom in the palace of Donghuang Yanwu College, and he could vaguely see several figures beside his bed. "You're awake?" A cold and emotionless voice came from the side of the bed. Kang Xinmu felt that the voice was very familiar. When he woke up again, the scene in front of his eyes gradually became clear. He finally found that the slim figure beside his bed was actually his master in Donghuang Yanwu College, Chu Yueqiang. At this moment, Chu Yueqiang was wearing an ice blue dress, and the thin gauze skirt showed off her exquisite body vividly. She stood alone beside the bed and had just withdrawn her hand. It seemed that she had just checked on Kang Xinmu's state. Seeing that Kang Xinmu was about to get up and salute, Chu Yueqiang stretched out her slender hand and pressed his shoulder. "Have a good rest first. This time, you've been seriously injured. Xinwu has woken up. You're so awesome. You woke him up as soon as you came." A delicate and surprised female voice came. It was Kang Xinmu's senior sister, Qin Fengyu. Qin Fengyu's lovely face popped out from behind Chu Yueqiang. Seeing that Kang Xinmu had really woken up, she finally breathed a sigh of relief. How long have I been unconscious?" Kang Xinmu asked. He realized that his voice had become a little hoarse. "Junior brother, drink some water first." Lu Hua came over with a cup of water and handed it to Kang Xinmu. Look at junior brother's heavily injured appearance. How can he hold the cup of water steadily? Qin Fengyu covered her mouth and chuckled. "Senior brother, I think you should feed junior brother yourself." Lu Hua was not embarrassed. Instead, she put on a serious expression and brought the cup of water to Kang Xinmu's mouth. Kang Xinmu was indeed thirsty. After drinking some water, he finally felt that his throat was not that dry. While drinking, Chu Yueqiang said coldly, "This time, you've been unconscious for 3 days and 3 nights. But it's not a big problem. Your body is very strong, but you still need to rest well." "Yes." Kang Xinmu nodded. His heart sank. He did not expect that he would actually be unconscious for 3 days and 3 nights. He wondered how Lin Yuji had managed to unleash such a powerful attack during the tournament. "By the way, junior brother, for the past 2 days, Lin Yuji has been coming over every night to see if you've woken up. It looks like she has something to say to you." Chapter 42-36. Lin Yuji came to see me? Kang Xinmu felt that it was a little strange. "Yes. She should come again tonight. I'll bring her to see you then." Qin Fengyu said, "Although I don't know what she wants to do, I'm sure she won't harm you." Kang Xinmu, "Since you're awake, I'll leave first." Chu Yueqiang checked Kang Xinmu's condition and found that there were no major problems. She heaved a sigh of relief and planned to leave first. "Yes." Kang Xinmu nodded. "Teacher has been by your side for the past 3 days." Qin Fengyu covered her mouth and chuckled. "You talk too much." Chu Yueqiang glared at her, turned around and left. Kang Xinmu looked at her slim and exquisite back and felt a little touched. He didn't expect that Chu Yueqiang would stay by his side after he was injured. It seems that this teacher's indifference on the surface is all an act. Kang Xinmu shook his head and didn't think too much about it. In fact, when he saw that Chu Yueqiang was willing to help Dragon Emperor Yan previously, he knew that this teacher must be quite enthusiastic, but she didn't show it usually. Next, Kang Xinmu took a short rest. When he woke up, he began to summarize the battle with Lin Yuji, but found that he couldn't resist the last blow no matter what. At that time, he had swallowed a lot of Lin Yuji's nirvana power, and his resistance to that power had been increased to an extremely high level. If it was based on her previous strength, it would be impossible to injure Kang Xinmu to the extent of fainting in one move. At that time, Lin Yuji's strength had been greatly improved. That improvement came without warning. If it was caused by Lin Yuji, then it was impossible for Kang Xinmu not to notice it at all. Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua didn't leave his bedroom, but continued to take care of him in his bedroom. No matter what, Kang Xinmu couldn't even get up and walk now. It would be good if I could swallow some life essence. Kang Xinmu thought in his heart. But since Lin Yuji would come over at night, he would wait for her to come. Kang Xinmu also wanted to see what the girl wanted to say. While waiting, Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua discussed some cultivation matters. As their realms were higher than Kang Xinmu's, Kang Xinmu gained a lot from listening at the side. In the evening, the rays of the setting sun shone through the window. Outside the palace, a woman arrived. However, this woman was not Lin Yuji, whom Kang Xinmu and the others had been waiting for. When Lu Hua heard the knock on the door, she walked to the door and opened it. The moment she saw the figure in front of her, she was stunned. Her mouth and eyes were wide open, unable to believe her eyes. Divine Marshal, Wind Whisper, look who's here. Lu Hua ran into the bedroom excitedly. Isn't it Lin Yuji? Qin Fengyu felt a little strange. No, it's eldest senior sister Yu Tianchang. Lu Hua felt like she was dreaming. She actually had the opportunity to be in close contact with a legendary figure like Yu Tianchang. In fact, Lu Hua was also very talented. Being able to enter Donghuang Yangwu College, she had drawn a clear line between herself and ordinary dragon martial artists. However, compared with Yu Tianchang, she was not at the same level. As Lu Hua's voice was heard, a figure broke in. Then, a beautiful girl in a white dress appeared in front of Kang Xinmu and Qin Fengyu. Her skin was as white as snow, her temperament was elegant, and her face was beautiful. Her graceful figure was extremely lethal to any man, especially the pair of snow-white long legs under the dress, which made people's blood boil. Who else could it be but Yu Tianchang? It's really Yu Tianchang. Senior sister Yu. As soon as Qin Fengyu saw Yu Tianchang, he suddenly became a little nervous. Yu Tianchang was not only a goddess for the male students, but also a mythical figure in the eyes of the female students. After saying this, Yu Tianchang frowned and reminded, I'm afraid that someone will harm Shenwu if it gets out. We know that. Qin Fengyu quickly raised his hand. If it gets out, many male students who admire you will be jealous and frame junior brother Shenwu. That's not all. Yu Tianchang shook her head gently. I even suspect that Xiaofan interfered in the battle between Shenwu and Lin Yuji. What? Hearing this, Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua exclaimed and then shut their mouths. They looked at each other and realized the seriousness of the matter. Xiaofan interfered and allowed Lin Yuji to defeat Kang Xinmu. As the dean of Donghuang Yangwu College, he did such a thing. It was despicable and shameless. But now, he had the final say in Donghuang Yangwu College. Even if they wanted to question him, there was nothing they could do. Instead, they would get themselves into trouble. Of course, I'm not sure. Yu Tianchang said, the main thing is that Xiaofan talked to me before. He hinted that if I'm willing to serve him, he can provide me with more cultivation resources. Is that so? Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua couldn't believe it. The new dean of Donghuang Yangwu College turned out to be such a person. Chapter 42-37. Looking at Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua's expressions, Yu Tianchang shook her head and said with a smile, don't go around talking nonsense, or it won't do you any good if Xiaofan finds out. Yes, we understand. Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua nodded. Of course they knew that. Most importantly, even if they spread the news, it wouldn't help at all. You'll be okay, right? Kang Xinmu lowered his voice, showing some concern for Yu Tianchang's situation. Don't worry about that. Yu Tianchang pursed her lips and smiled. My status in Donghuang Yangwu College isn't low now. Even if he's the new college president, he wouldn't dare to use force on me. After all, there are other people watching me besides him. Then I'm relieved. Kang Xinmu breathed a sigh of relief and nodded. He knew that the other people Yu Tianchang was talking about should be the other Super Shenron. Since Donghuang Yangwu College was built by the higher-ups to cultivate Super Shenron, they would naturally pay attention to this place. It was impossible for a talented dragon warrior like Yu Tianchang to not notice. I'm leaving. Have a good rest. Yu Tianchang said goodbye to everyone and left. After she left, Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua hurriedly put on an exaggerated expression. Well done, Shenwu, when did you hook up with senior sister? Why didn't you tell us? You hit it well, boy. In this regard, Kang Xinmu could only smile bitterly. Of course, he wouldn't tell them everything that had happened before. The sun was setting, and night was coming soon. It wasn't until 2 hours after Yu Tianchang left that Lin Yuji finally came to visit Kang Xinmu. Lin Yuji was a pretty famous beauty in Yaoguang District and Kaiyang District. She was a goddess, but not as unreachable as Yu Tianchang. The news of her arrival spread quickly. After all, there were many dragon warriors in Kaiyang District, and many people saw what she did. These days, Lin Yuji went to Kang Xinmu's place every day, and the news had already spread. Kang Xinmu, you guys have a good chat. We'll be leaving first. Seeing a beauty like Lin Yuji come to visit Kang Xinmu in a light and elegant long dress, Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua bid farewell to Kang Xinmu one after another and winked at Kang Xinmu. Obviously, they wanted Kang Xinmu to seize the opportunity and build a good relationship with Lin Yuji. In their eyes, this was a very good relationship. After all, if a handsome guy like Kang Xinmu could win Lin Yuji's favor, it would be a wonderful story. They left. Only Lin Yuji and Kang Xinmu were left in the room. What are you doing here? Don't tell me you're just here to visit me. Kang Xinmu glanced at Lin Yuji and asked indifferently. Lin Yuji was slender and elegant by the window, wearing a light and elegant beige long dress. Her temperament was a little cold, but when she looked at Kang Xinmu, her beautiful eyes were a little apologetic. That's right, I'm just here to see you and make sure I didn't beat you to death. Lin Yuji said rather coldly, since you're awake, then it's fine. Hearing her cold words, Kang Xinmu did not feel that this woman's attitude was bad, because he could see that this woman was really concerned about his safety. Otherwise, she would not have visited him for 3 consecutive days. When you're well rested, you can come to Kaiyang District to find me. I'll give my position to you for half a year. Lin Yuji glanced at Kang Xinmu, seemingly deliberating for a moment, and finally made up her mind to say it. What? Kang Xinmu was a little puzzled. Lin Yuji's request was a little strange. She wanted him to go to Kaiyang District and occupy her position to cultivate for half a year? In Donghuang Yangwu College, there were naturally such precedents. As long as it was a student's position, she could arrange it as she pleased. However, if someone cultivated in her position, she would have to go to the outermost Alcade district to cultivate. In other words, Lin Yuji would give half of her time to cultivate in Kaiyang district to Kang Xinmu. This undoubtedly made Kang Xinmu very puzzled. You didn't hear wrong, I will give my position to you for half a year. As for why, you don't need to ask. Lin Yuji saw that he was puzzled, and her eyes became cold. After saying this, she turned around and left. Kang Xinmu was lying on the bed, almost confused. However, thinking about what Yu Tianchang had just said, and looking at Lin Yuji's back as she left, he seemed to have figured something out. This Lin Yuji seems to know that she has an unfair advantage, doesn't she? So she wants to give half of her time to me. Kang Xinmu thought to himself. Perhaps Lin Yuji felt that the power that defeated Kang Xinmu did not belong to her, so she wanted to make it up to Kang Xinmu in this way. However, even if she did not have that power, she would not necessarily lose to Kang Xinmu. Therefore, she felt that she did not need to give up her position completely. She just wanted to let Kang Xinmu cultivate for half a year to make it up to Kang Xinmu. It had to be said that Lin Yuji's heart did not seem as cold and bad as she appeared to be. Although she could not say what had happened in that battle, the decision to let Jiang Shenwu replace her for half a year was a decision that could only be made with a certain level of responsibility. Sure enough, every student in Donghuang Yangwu College is not that simple. Kang Xinmu felt a little emotional. Then, he rested for another night. Early the next morning, he forced himself to get up. If this continued, he did not know how long it would take for him to recover. He might as well go to the wilderness and absorb the life essence of some plants. That way, he would be full of vigor after half a day. Of course, he was still relatively weak now. If he went to the wilderness and encountered any demon beasts, it would be bad. Therefore, he planned to make a trip back to the charming tavern and bring the two girls, Ran Ran and Fire Phoenix. He left a letter for Qin Fengyu and Lu Hua, thanking them for taking care of him these few days. Then, he left Donghuang Yangwu College. He transformed into a black dragon and flew straight down. He landed in Donghuang Dragon Martial City and found the charming tavern. Then, he brought Ran Ran and Princess Fire Phoenix and silently left Donghuang Yangwu College. On this trip, he wanted to recover from his injuries first, then start cultivating properly to raise his cultivation. As for whether he should go to Kaiyang District and find Lin Yuji to obtain half a year of cultivation time in Kaiyang District, Kang Xinmu was not in a hurry to decide. Anyway, to him, the dragon mark energy was not the most important thing. Chapter 42-38. On the outskirts of the Eastern Emperor Dragon Martial City. Kang Xinmu brought Ran Ran and the Fire Phoenix Princess with him, intending to find a place with few people to devour the life essence of some plants to recover from his injuries. It would be great if he had a monster core on him. Unfortunately, he had already devoured all the monster cores, so he didn't have any left. Recently, Ran Ran and the Fire Phoenix Princess had been cultivating smoothly in the charming inn. Especially the Fire Phoenix Princess. Her divine dragon blood essence was originally of a high grade. Now that she had enough resources to cultivate, her cultivation level rose quickly. It was even faster than when Kang Xinmu was in the divine martial arts realm. Ran Ran, on the other hand, was very clingy. Her cultivation level didn't improve much, but the recent rest had rejuvenated her spirit and restored her fighting strength to its peak. She had lost a lot of her original memories after being rescued by Kang Xinmu and Yu Tiangshang from the dreamland of memories. This made her especially dependent on Kang Xinmu. Every time Kang Xinmu returned to the charming inn, she would stay on his bed and not leave, which made Kang Xinmu feel a little helpless. This time, it was Kang Xinmu who took the initiative to let her follow him. After all, Kang Xinmu was seriously injured. If he went out alone, it would be a little inappropriate if he encountered danger. If he brought Ran Ran with him, it would definitely be safer. There were spacious official roads on the outskirts of the Eastern Emperor Dragon Martial City. Many Dragon Emperor Empire's dragon warriors from the eastern part of the continent would find a way to come to the Eastern Emperor Dragon Martial City to do some trade. Therefore, on the official roads, there were caravans coming and going, appearing in their field of vision from time to time. Sometimes, when it was almost dark, these caravans would set up camp on the spot. Generally speaking, there would be 1 or 2 dragon warriors guarding these caravans. Moreover, these dragon warriors were of high cultivation levels. Even if Kang Xinmu were to encounter him now, he might not be a match for him. Generally speaking, the surroundings of the Eastern Emperor Dragon Martial City were relatively safe. No demonic beasts would dare to behave atrociously in such a place. Once they were discovered by the people of the Eastern Emperor Dragon Martial City, only death would await them. No matter what kind of demon beast it was, no matter what cultivation realm it was, and no matter what kind of demon race bloodline it had. Once it was targeted by the people from the Eastern Emperor Martial Dragon City, it was almost certain death. One must know that the entire continent was actually ruled by the dragon warriors. The reason why the fiend race was able to survive on the continent was because the higher-level existences didn't have the time to care about them. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any fiend beasts on the continent. Of course, if there were no demon beasts, the cultivation of the dragon warrior would not be so fast and convenient. Therefore, the existence of demon beasts was both a threat and an opportunity for dragon warriors. At this moment, the young girl, Ran, was still wearing a set of black tights. It seemed that she was used to wearing this style of clothes. Usually, she would feel a little awkward wearing a skirt or something like that. This kind of black tights vividly displayed her originally perfect figure. What was even more fatal was that when Kang Xinmu brought her and the Fire Phoenix Princess down into the dense forest below, the three of them had all returned to their human forms. Ran immediately stuck to him, causing Kang Xinmu to blush a little. It had to be said that this was the first time he had such intimate contact with a woman. Even in the dream of her memory, she was far from being this intimate with Ran. But now that Ran had lost her memories, if Kang Xinmu were to show too much resistance, it would probably make her feel uncomfortable. Therefore, Kang Xinmu let her be. There shouldn't be anyone coming to this place. Kang Xinmu looked around. It was noon, and this dense forest was dozens of miles away from the official road to Donghuang Dragon Martial City. The surroundings were quiet. The dense forest was filled with the sounds of insects and birds, and there were no traces of demon beasts. Brother Jiang, you can start. I will protect you. Seeing that Kang Xinmu had found the place, Ran sensibly retreated and brought the Fire Phoenix Princess to the side to act as a guard. Kang Xinmu nodded. He felt the injuries in his body and roughly estimated how much life essence he needed to devour to fully recover. Soon, he sat down on the grass in the forest. He began to slowly release the pitch-black nirvana devouring force, which penetrated deep into the ground. Anything that had life in the ground was devoured by his nirvana devouring force and turned into pure life essence, which was then absorbed by him as a healing force. He didn't destroy the vegetation. After all, if vegetation was devoured on a large scale, it would be too eye-catching. Therefore, he chose to devour the underground creatures. Regardless of whether they were living creatures or plants, they couldn't escape his nirvana devouring power. Wisps of life essence were absorbed by him, which slowly healed the injuries in his body. Ran and the Fire Phoenix Princess naturally wouldn't disturb him. Now that the two of them had become very good friends, Ran would basically answer any questions that the Fire Phoenix Princess had about her cultivation. Usually, if Ran was idle and bored, the Fire Phoenix Princess would accompany her to go shopping. The relationship between the two of them grew stronger day by day. The sun was setting. As the sun disappeared from the horizon, the land was covered by a layer of shadow. The moonlight in the sky was like a silver veil that sprinkled over the land. Kang Xinmu was still calmly devouring the life essence and healing his injuries. Ran and the Fire Phoenix Princess had been on guard in the surroundings for an entire day. At this moment, they had returned to Kang Xinmu's side. They rested their cheeks on their hands and looked at Kang Xinmu in a daze. This young man was too important to the two of them. The trajectory of their lives had changed because of this young man. Around midnight. Suddenly, a sharp cry came from afar. It sounded like the sound of some kind of demon beast in a hurry. The sharp whistle quickly swept past where they were and then abruptly stopped not far away, abruptly disappearing. Immediately after, divine dragon bodies flew over from the distant sky and quickly landed not far away from Kang Xinmu and the other two. The Nightmare Ink beast should have escaped to this place. Quickly look around. This is the most important thing we have on this trip. We can't lose it. The voice of a middle-aged man who seemed to be the leader came from the forest not far away. Immediately after, a series of rustling sounds came from the dense forest. It seemed that the dragon warriors who had just landed were approaching. It's the people from the caravan. When Ran Ran heard this movement, her beautiful eyes immediately became alert. Of course, she wasn't too nervous. After all, the people from the caravan would not attack the students of Donghuang Yangwu College. Chapter 42-39. Kong Xinmu was still sitting on the grass. No one could see that the pitch-black devouring power was spreading towards the ground, devouring the life essence of countless hidden creatures. At this moment, a series of rustling sounds came from the surroundings. Ran Ran and Fire Phoenix stood guard beside Kong Xinmu, vigilantly looking in the direction of the sound. Immediately after, they saw a few dragon warriors return to their human forms and appear in front of them from the dense forest. They should be the dragon warrior guards from a nearby caravan. The demonic beast they were escorting was called the Nightmare Ink beast. It seemed to have suddenly escaped in this direction, so they chased after it. The person in the lead was a bald middle-aged man. From the aura just now, this person should be at the 8th level of the Nirvana Tribulation realm. As for the 3 caravan dragon warrior guards behind him, they were also experts at the 7th level of the Nirvana Tribulation realm. The Nightmare Ink beast ran around here and disappeared. The Nightmare Ink beast is good at hiding in dark environments. However, it can't move when it's hidden. Everyone, look around. Look, why are there people here? And it's 2 girls with soft skin and tender flesh. Very quickly, a dragon warrior guard saw Ran Ran and the Fire Phoenix princess. His eyes immediately lit up. There's someone here? The bald middle-aged man in the lead glanced at Ran Ran and the Fire Phoenix. A hint of greed appeared in his eyes. However, when he turned to the side, he saw Kong Xinmu, who was protected by the 2 girls, and carefully observed him. It's a student from Donghuang Yangwu College. His heart immediately trembled, and he didn't dare to have any more thoughts. What time is it? Don't do such useless things. Find the Nightmare Ink beast for me. The middle-aged man didn't say it clearly, but strictly gave the order to find the Nightmare Ink beast. A student from Donghuang Yangwu College. What a good mood to bring 2 beautiful girls to this wilderness to enjoy. The middle-aged man was looking for the Nightmare Ink beast while feeling a little unhappy. Whether it was Ran Ran or Fire Phoenix, they were both first-class beauties in his eyes. Beauties of this level, even he couldn't get his hands on them normally. In the end, a random Donghuang Yangwu College was able to deceive such a beauty. Most importantly, the middle-aged man saw Ran Ran and the Fire Phoenix princess looking nervous, while the Donghuang Yangwu College students were sitting upright in the middle, looking like they were resting. This made him a little angry. That Donghuang Yangwu College student was actually so calm with 2 beauties by his side. In his opinion, it was a reckless waste of God's gifts. Hurry up and find that Nightmare Ink beast for this daddy. Once we find it, we'll go back and enjoy it. He immediately gave the order with a cold snort. He turned around and no longer looked in the direction of Kong Xinmu and the 2 women, but the fire in his heart could not be extinguished. However, at this moment, he suddenly felt dizzy. A gust of black smoke suddenly appeared in front of him and enveloped him within. This is the poison of the Nightmare Ink beast. Cough cough. That bald middle-aged man instantly shouted angrily, "Damn it! This Nightmare Ink beast has already broken through its realm without anyone knowing and possesses poison." The Nightmare Ink beast usually had 2 talents. One was to hide in dark environments. Its concealment ability was extremely strong, and ordinary people would not be able to discover its existence at all. The other talent was its poison. The Nightmare Ink beast's direct combat strength was not strong, but it excelled in agility. Most importantly, once it cultivated poison in its body, it could become something that even some strong dragon martial artists would have a headache against. This poison completely disregarded the realm of the dragon martial artist. No matter how high the cultivation of the dragon martial artist, once they were poisoned by the Nightmare Ink beast, all the power in their body would be suppressed. This poison could even kill them slowly, unless they could kill the Nightmare Ink beast and use its heart to detoxify it. Of course, there was one way to resist the Nightmare Ink beast's poison, and that was to raise the grade of the divine dragon blood essence. As long as one reached the grade of the divine dragon blood essence of the Dragon King, the Nightmare Ink beast's poison would not have a strong effect on them. At most, it would weaken a portion of their combat strength. If it reached the level of the Dragon Emperor, they would be completely immune to the Nightmare Ink beast's poison. It seemed that the Nightmare Ink beast that escaped to this place was not poisonous before, but recently, it cultivated poison at a critical moment, which even the bald middle-aged man did not notice. Suddenly, he was corroded by the hidden Nightmare Ink beast's poison. If he could not kill the Nightmare Ink beast, the bald middle-aged man's life would be in danger today. But that Nightmare Ink beast was the cargo they were escorting today. Find it. Damn it. That bald middle-aged man was incomparably furious. A moment of carelessness had actually caused him to be poisoned by the Nightmare Ink beast. Today, he would either die here, or kill the Nightmare Ink beast to save himself, and then escape without a trace. That Nightmare Ink beast concealed itself, released its poison at him, and then disappeared. In the darkness, it was impossible to know where it was. In a short while, another dragon martial artist at the side let out a tragic cry, and a cloud of black smoke had already enveloped him. The Nightmare Ink beast appeared near him, released its poison, and corroded his body. Before they could react, another person around them was attacked. That Nightmare Ink beast moved extremely quickly, and its poison was strong. Once one was corroded by the poison, their battle strength would be weakened by at least 30%, or even 50%. In other words, these poison dragon martial artists could only use half of their original strength. As the last dragon martial artist guard was poisoned, none of the 4 dragon martial artists who came to chase after the Nightmare Ink beast were spared. Their bodies were all enveloped by the black poison, and under their skin, there was a faint black fog. At this time, they could not even find the Nightmare Ink beast's figure. Damn it, damn it! They were corroded by the poison, and their strength was weakened more and more. That Nightmare Ink beast could take this opportunity to escape, and they were restricted by the poison. It was impossible for them to catch up. Boss, what do we do now? One of the dragon martial artists was already panicking. Now that things had come to this, it was impossible to catch the Nightmare Ink beast, and their lives were in danger. What else can we do? It's all these 2 girls' fault for distracting me. Since we can't survive today, we might as well drag them down with us. So what if you're a student of Donghuang Yangwu College? I won't be able to live happily anyway, so I'll have a good time before I die. The bald middle-aged man's entire body was covered in black gas as he staggered towards Ran Ran and the Fire Phoenix Princess. He still had a certain level of combat strength. He was at the 8th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm, so his strength was definitely not weak. Even if he was poisoned, he still felt that he could deal with a brat from Donghuang Yangwu College. Fire Phoenix, be careful, they're here. Chapter 42-40. The Centipede Ink beast was nowhere to be found, and the 4 caravan guards were all poisoned. They would definitely die after being poisoned because the Centipede Ink beast must have escaped. It was basically impossible for them to kill the Centipede Ink beast to detoxify the poison. Therefore, they had the guts to make a move against Ran Ran and the Fire Phoenix. In their opinion, since they were going to die anyway, they might as well die a happy death. As they approached Kong Shinmu, Ran immediately became alert. Hee, little girl, you seem to be having a good time in the wilderness? How about you bring us along to have a good time? The bald middle-aged man chuckled, as though he was in a desperate situation. We guarantee that we will make the two of you feel like dying, but before he could finish his sentence, Ran had already transformed into the slender black dragon. Her dark innate talent, Nirvana force, exploded and swept out in all directions. This little girl is actually the Dragon King? This scene shocked the 4 guards of the Dragon Warrior caravan. It was rather difficult to attain the Dragon King level of inheritance blood essence. Generally speaking, it would take at least a few decades to attain the Dragon King level of inheritance blood essence. They really did not expect that this beautiful little girl would actually have the Dragon King level of inheritance blood essence. Most importantly, Ran was not a student of Donghuang Yongwu College. But even if it was the Dragon King level of inheritance blood essence, it was impossible for the 4 caravan guards to retreat because they had no way out. The centipede ink beast had hidden itself after dragging them into the middle of the road. It was impossible for them to find it. As for them, although they only had the heavenly dragon level of inheritance blood essence, they could only brace themselves to deal with Ran. Let's fuck this little girl to the ground and we'll be done for once with the Dragon King. The bald middle-aged man said fiercely. Then, he instantly transformed into a dragon and charged towards Ran. This move used the second-grade dragon martial technique. The wind turned into a tornado and howled out, courting death. Ran wasn't afraid of him at all. If the other party hadn't provoked her, she wouldn't have bothered with him. But now that he dared to attack her, she had no reason to spare him. Immediately, the slender black dragon body turned around and nimbly dodged the opponent's attack. Moreover, she took the opportunity to use a grade 2 dragon martial technique. Her black dragon claws were imbued with her innate nirvana force. A dense black energy slashed out like a burst of black smoke, piercing and eroding the divine dragon body of the bald middle-aged man. Immediately after, the other 3 dragon warriors roared crazily and charged over. All kinds of dragon martial skills enveloped her slender black dragon body. Ran was in the middle of attacking the enemy's leader. Unable to dodge in time, she was hit by the 3 attacks at the same time. Immediately, blood splattered from her slender black dragon body, and she quickly fell to the ground. Dark Dragon Filth Control. Without any hesitation, Ran used this high-grade dragon martial technique. Suddenly, a strong force brewed and spread in her body, healing her injuries almost instantly. After all, although the 3 of them had similar cultivation levels as her, the divine dragon's blood essence had been forcefully reduced by 1 level, so the damage to her was not too serious. Immediately after, she exploded like a whirlwind. Dark energy swept across the entire area, enveloping the 4 dragon warriors. The terrifying power fell with a loud rumble, spreading out in the dense forest, causing the surrounding forest to be flattened into the ground. In the shadows under the moonlight, a blurry figure flashed by. No one had the time to see its face clearly. Presumably, it was the Nightmare Ink Beast. However, Ran didn't care about the Nightmare Ink Beast at all. Anyway, she had the Dragon King's blood essence, so the Nightmare Ink Beast's poison wouldn't have much effect on her. Dragon Soldier Formation, into formation. At this moment, the 4 caravan dragon warriors, who were already at a disadvantage, suddenly attacked. The bald dragon warrior's eyes revealed a cold smile. It was obvious that they were just pretending to be weak to make their opponents look down on them. Only now did they use their full strength. As the caravan dragon warriors, they naturally had many tricks up their sleeves. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to survive for so long on this road without dying. The next moment, the 4 of them each released a dragon weapon. They were all dragon-grade dragon weapons, which were quite powerful. These 4 dragon weapons were a set. Saber, spear, sword, and staff gathered in front of the 4 dragon warriors, each emitting a terrifying force. Saber light, sword shadow, spear shadow, staff shadow. Countless forces shrouded Ran in an instant, completely suppressing her slender black dragon body to the ground, rendering her unable to move. Hee. Little girl, there's nothing you can do now, right? Let's take care of her first and have a taste. Also, that little girl beside her doesn't seem to have a high cultivation level, but she looks fresh and cute. Ran struggled with all her might, but the 4 dragon weapons pressed down on her body like Mount Tai, making her unable to move at all. It even caused all of her divine dragon power to be suppressed back into her body, allowing her to return to her human form from her divine dragon state. Under the lead of the bald middle-aged man, the 4 dragon warriors landed on the ground and stood on all 4 sides of Ran. The 4 dragon weapons behind them emitted a dazzling light, as if they had an unstoppable might. Ran. The Fire Phoenix Princess was guarding Kong Shinmu from behind. Seeing this situation, she was a little anxious. She really did not expect that Ran would not be a match for the 4 of them. It was also a moment of carelessness that led to her falling into the opponent's trap. The other party had pretended to be weak in order to suddenly counterattack and use the 4 dragon weapons to subdue Ran. Ran thought that the other party was about to die, so she did not think too much about it. She was purely sending herself to death, but she did not expect, suddenly. The Fire Phoenix Princess felt someone patting her shoulder. Immediately after, a calm voice entered her ears, "Don't worry, I'm here. Young master. Young master has recovered from his injuries?" The Fire Phoenix Princess immediately felt as if she had found her savior. Looking back, she saw that Kong Shinmu had already stood up. Moreover, his complexion was rosy and he did not seem to be injured at all. Kong Shinmu nodded his head, then his expression turned cold and he instantly transformed into a dragon. A black dragon. After recovering from his injuries, he instantly charged out. He was the strongest out of the 3. At this moment, his divine dragon body roared out and turned into a black shadow. The Void Dragon Raises the Sky, the Source Dragon martial skill, instantly appeared on the field. Although Ran had the Dragon King's inherited blood essence, she did not cultivate the offensive Source Dragon martial skill, so she was at a disadvantage when facing these 4 dragon warriors. Chapter 42-41. Kong Shinmu was confident that he could kill all of them. However, when he stepped forward, the bald middle-aged man and the other 4 dragon martialists laughed mockingly. Did you see that? This Donghuang Yangwu College student still wants to stand out to protect his woman. He really overestimates himself. Students of Donghuang Yangwu College are so amazing. However, it's a pity that you're only talented. Your biggest weakness is that you're young. That's right, you're too young. You're so young that you're only at the 3rd level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. Ha ha ha. They laughed maniacally. In their eyes, the 3rd level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm was too weak. One had to know that even Ran, who was at the 7th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm, the Dragon King, had been completely suppressed by them. As for Kong Shinmu, even though he was the Dragon King, he was only at the 3rd level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. How could he be a match for them? Therefore, their expressions immediately became playful. 3 of them were still controlling their dragon weapons to suppress Ran, while one of them was at the 7th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm to intercept Kong Shinmu. Due to the fact that there was one less person, they needed to use all their strength to suppress Ran. Therefore, they were unable to do anything to hurt Ran for a while. As for the 7th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm, he immediately transformed into a dragon and attacked Kong Shinmu. Void Dragon, Sky Raising Break. Kong Shinmu was already prepared. The opponent's attack posed no threat to him at all. With a cold snort, the black dragon's body roared and instantly condensed 6 divine dragon phantoms around him. As soon as these 6 divine dragon phantoms appeared, they condensed pitch-black nirvana devouring power and shot towards the incoming dragon warrior. The terrifying power of the origin dragon martial skill erupted in an instant. The dragon warrior didn't have the slightest ability to resist and was instantly sent flying by the 6 pitch-black light beams of the void dragon sky-raising break. His entire divine dragon body heavily smashed onto the ground, creating a deep pit. What? The faces of the other 3 dragon warriors changed greatly. They did not expect that with just one move, Kang Shinmu would severely injure their companion. You want to defeat me? Dream on. But at this moment, the dragon warrior who had smashed a deep pit in the ground suddenly flew up again. Although he was covered in blood, he had an unyielding aura. It was a thunder attribute heavenly dragon realm divine dragon. At this moment, its entire body was emitting the light of thunder. It was like the rumbling of heavenly thunder, emitting a rumbling sound. Even though he was covered in blood, he refused to admit defeat and flew up again. It wasn't that his willpower was strong. The key was that he had been poisoned by the nightmare ink beast, which made him feel like he didn't have much longer to live. That was why he felt like he was fighting for his life. Since he was going to die anyway, he might as well get rid of a student from Donghuang Yangwu College before he died, and then find that student's woman to have some fun with. In this way, he could die without regrets. Unfortunately, whether it was him or his companions, they had underestimated Kang Shinmu's strength. In the past, only Kang Shinmu would choose to fight with his life when facing opponents stronger than him. He had never met someone weaker than him who would fight with his life. But Kang Shinmu knew one thing. If someone weaker than him came to fight with his life, the one who would die would definitely not be Kang Shinmu. The other party was fighting with his life. The sky was filled with lightning. The dark blue divine dragon soared in the lightning, like a god descending to the mortal world. Lightning constantly bombarded the place where Kang Shinmu was. Die. He did not cultivate the origin source dragon martial technique. He only had a 2nd grade dragon martial technique, and he had only cultivated it to the dragon grade. Ordinary dragon warriors did not have talent or resources. It was already very good for them to be able to do this. If he could cultivate the 2nd grade dragon martial technique to the heaven grade, he would be able to rely on selling 2nd grade dragon martial techniques for a living. He would not need to be a guard for a caravan at all. The 2nd grade dragon martial technique exploded with the power of lightning and landed on Kang Shinmu. However, Kang Shinmu did not dodge. His black dragon body faced the attack head-on. At the same time, the pitch-black devouring power spread out with unparalleled vigor, directly covering the body of the opponent's thunder divine dragon. Following that, the opponent's blood-stained body became the best way for the devouring power to corrode in. In just an instant, the endless devouring power penetrated deep into the opponent's body and began to devour the opponent's flesh and blood essence. The opponent's 2nd grade dragon martial technique, condensed with the power of thunder nirvana, bombarded Kang Shinmu's divine dragon body, causing Kang Shinmu to feel pain. After all, the opponent's cultivation was very high. He had reached the 7th stage of the nirvana tribulation realm. When the 7th stage of the nirvana talent power bombarded Kang Shinmu's body, it could still injure him and even kill him if it continued. Unfortunately, Kang Shinmu's divine dragon body was too strong. In addition, he was still devouring the opponent's flesh and blood essence. No matter what, it was impossible for the opponent to kill Kang Shinmu. What's going on? I feel that I'm getting weaker and weaker. He's clearly being attacked by me, but he's getting stronger and stronger. Soon, the Thunder Divine Dragon's flesh and blood essence was devoured by Kang Shinmu. The Thunder Divine Dragon, who originally wanted to fight to the death with Kang Shinmu, was now a little blurry and extremely weak. What's going on? The other 3 dragon warriors did not know what was going on. However, it was too late for them to make a move. It was obvious that Kang Shinmu's devouring power had eroded his entire body, causing him to lose all his strength. After a while, the Thunder Divine Dragon's body became somewhat withered and completely died. It fell into the pit on the ground. As for Kang Shinmu, his entire body flickered with lightning. The lightning nirvana power that attacked him was actually absorbed by him. These lightning bolts had become his defense against the lightning attribute power. They could increase his resistance to the lightning attribute power by a lot. Of course, it didn't seem to have any effect now because the remaining 3 dragon warriors were not of the lightning attribute. After a period of time, Kang Shinmu's resistance to lightning would disappear. However, if Kang Shinmu wanted to deal with these dragon warriors, he didn't need to use the power brought by the devouring power to resist. With the death of the first dragon warrior, the remaining 3 were all terrified. They weren't afraid of experts. After all, they were fighting with their lives on the line. What was there to be afraid of? But they were afraid of the unknown. The death of their companion made them feel a kind of fear towards Kang Shinmu. This kind of fear was even more terrifying than death. Because they didn't know how their companion died. Chapter 42-42. The 3 of them were terrified from the bottom of their hearts. They were already certain that they would die, but they still had a natural fear when facing an unknown death. Kang Shinmu's black dragon body quickly approached. Lightning flashed all over his body, making him look like a god of thunder. At this moment, the bald middle-aged man was the first to let out a cold snort. He finally exploded and charged towards Kang Shinmu. He knew that there was no use in retreating now. Only by killing Kang Shinmu would he be qualified to enjoy his woman. Since he was going to die anyway, what was the use of being afraid? However, when the bald middle-aged dragon martial artist attacked Kang Shinmu, the remaining 2 caravan guard dragon martial artists were simply unable to suppress Ran Ran. At this moment, the black dragon that ran suddenly exploded. A fierce nirvana power swept out and abruptly sent the remaining 2 dragon martial artists flying. Void Dragon raises the heavens. Kang Shinmu did not hesitate and used the Void Dragon raises the heavens. He had long cultivated this origin dragon martial skill to the heaven rank and it was already the strongest stage. Although it was only a beginner rank origin dragon martial skill, it possessed incomparably tyrannical destructive power. At this moment, the bald middle-aged man rushed over recklessly. In the end, he was hit by 6 beams of dark light midway. His entire body was blasted to the ground and heavily smashed into the ground. As for the remaining 2, they were naturally suppressed by Ran Ran, and they were completely killed on the spot by her formidable strength. The entire battle did not last for too long. Kang Shinmu and Ran Ran joined forces to kill the 4 opponents. Fire Phoenix Princess watched from the side and finally heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, they are fine. Otherwise, Fire Phoenix did not know what she would do in the future if something happened to Kang Shinmu and Ran Ran. It was also at this moment that Fire Phoenix suddenly felt a weight on her shoulder, as if something had stopped on her shoulder. She could not help but look to the side and saw a small black animal lying on her shoulder. It looked like a small squirrel, but it was covered in pitch-black fur. What is this? The Fire Phoenix Princess was a little scared. At this time, Kang Shinmu and Ran Ran were worried about her safety and returned to her side. When they saw the little black squirrel, they couldn't help but be stunned. This can't be the Tusk Beast, right? Kang Shinmu looked a little uncertain. He sensed a familiar aura from the Nightmare Ink Beast. It was the same aura he had sensed when he was devouring the power of the Dragon Warriors. It was the same aura he had sensed from the Nightmare Ink Beast's poison. However, he was still unsure if the black squirrel in front of him was the ink nightmare beast. This is the inky nightmare beast. At this time, Ran Ran stood up and walked in front of Fire Phoenix with light steps. She bent her slender waist and moved closer to the little black squirrel. I have some memories about these strange demon beasts. There is a record of the nightmare ink beast. It is said that it has black fur and looks like a small squirrel. Its poison is very strong. Only a divine dragon with blood essence of the Dragon King or above can avoid death. When she said this, Ran Ran's face was delicate and pretty. She had a serious expression, which made people feel mesmerized just by looking at her. Kang Xinmu looked at her almost perfect side profile. He felt that even Yu Tiansheng would not be able to compare in terms of appearance. Even in terms of figure, Ran Ran was even more voluptuous than Yu Tiansheng. Slender waist, long snow-white legs, proud and perfect curves. Every single one of them was what men dreamed of. Unfortunately, Kang Xinmu was still young. He really did not have any thoughts about beauty, he simply felt that Ran Ran was very beautiful. That was all. If this is the ink nightmare beast, why did it come to my shoulder? It can't be trying to poison me, right? The Fire Phoenix Princess was instantly shocked. If it wanted to poison you, why would it need to appear in front of you? Ran Ran giggled. This giggle was enough to topple all living things. It was as if the moon in the sky had changed color. Don't worry, the ink nightmare beast is actually very close to humans. However, because it has special concealment and poison, many people use it to do bad things. Ran Ran spoke of the memories in her mind regarding the ink nightmare beast. That's why this ink nightmare beast wanted to escape. Those fellows just now are obviously bad people. They usually do bad things. Since the ink nightmare beast appeared in front of us, it means that it wants to follow us. It wants to follow us? The Fire Phoenix Princess felt that it was a little inconceivable. After all, this ink nightmare beast looked very fierce. It had even poisoned those 4 fellows. That should be the case. At this time, Kang Xinmu also carefully sized up the black little squirrel. He discovered that its eyes were bright and didn't have any ominous glint or malice. Instead, when it stared at Kang Xinmu, it looked a little afraid. It seemed as if it was afraid that Kang Xinmu would harm it. Kang Xinmu naturally wasn't afraid of this little squirrel. He coughed and said, "It was all thanks to the poison of the nightmare ink beast that we were able to kill those 4 fellows just now. Otherwise, their battle strength would have at least doubled. We wouldn't have been able to kill them so easily." These words were praise for the ink nightmare beast. In reality, even without its poison, Kang Xinmu and Ran Ran could also kill them if they joined hands. They would just have to spend a little more effort. And after Kang Xinmu said these words, he saw the black little squirrel immediately jump up on the Fire Phoenix Princess' shoulder. It looked extremely happy and even squeaked twice to show that it agreed with Kang Xinmu's opinion. Seeing it like this, Kang Xinmu and Ran Ran looked at each other and smiled. It was very clear that this ink nightmare beast could understand their words. If it could communicate, then it would be easy to deal with. If it was willing to follow, then let it follow. Although Donghuang Yangu College wouldn't let it follow them, since the Fire Phoenix Princess and Ran Ran were staying at the Charming Inn, it wasn't a big deal for the ink nightmare beast to stay at the Charming Inn. We've caused such a big commotion here. Let's leave first in case someone comes to investigate. Kang Xinmu looked behind him. He didn't touch the items left behind by the 4 caravan guards. In any case, he didn't lack those things. From the battle strength of these 4 fellows, he knew that they didn't have anything good on them. If they had something good, why would they only have such little battle strength at such a high realm? Therefore, Kang Xinmu simply didn't touch them, in case someone came to investigate. Immediately after, the 3 of them immediately left the scene. The ink nightmare beast stayed on the Fire Phoenix Princess' shoulder, as if it liked that place very much. By the time the sky brightened, the three of them had already left the forest. Chapter 42-43. Such an outstanding concealment ability was extremely useful to Kong Shinmu. This meant that the Nightmare Ink Beast could launch a surprise attack on its opponent in battle and cause them to fall into a poisoned state. Even if it was an opponent with inherited blood essence of the Dragon King level, after being poisoned by the Nightmare Ink Beast, their battle prowess would be reduced by 20 to 30%. If it was a Sky Dragon level opponent, it would be reduced by 30 to 40% and would even die slowly. This was extremely useful in battle. Of course, Kong Shinmu would not rely on the Nightmare Ink Beast. To him, the Nightmare Ink Beast following him was just a coincidence. If it wanted to help in battle, then it would help. If not, then so be it. Very soon, Kong Shinmu brought the two girls back to the charming inn in Donghuang Longwu City. As soon as they returned to Donghuang Longwu City, the Nightmare Ink Beast hid in the shadows. Even Kong Shinmu did not know where it was. In the end, when he returned to the charming inn, the Nightmare Ink Beast suddenly appeared in his room. This made him feel rather emotional. If he also had this level of concealment ability, then no matter what he did in the future, it would be easy. Suddenly, he had a strange thought. His nirvana-devouring power seemed to have some mystical properties. Could it devour the Nightmare Ink Beast's concealment ability? This was hard to say. Moreover, Kong Shinmu could not possibly capture the Nightmare Ink Beast and devour its blood. That would probably scare it away. No matter what, he would let the Nightmare Ink Beast stay and pretend that it did not exist. As for the Nightmare Ink Beast, it basically ate some ordinary fruits and vegetables. It did not need to leave the charming inn and could be found anywhere. Next, Kong Shinmu left the charming inn. Now that his injuries had recovered, he had to seize all the time he could to improve himself. In Donghuang Yongwu College, he had too many resources. He was afraid that he did not have enough time. Otherwise, his battle prowess could instantly increase by several times. Soon, he appeared near the experience stone tablet of Donghuang Yongwu College. He happened to see Chu Yi, Bao Peng, and Qin Shouji in front of the experience stone tablet. They seemed to be in a dilemma. Chu Ye's eyes lit up when he saw Kong Shinmu. "Everyone, Kong Shinmu is here. Why don't we go with him?" Chu Yi said to the two beside him. "Didn't he just get injured? You can go on a mission." Bao Peng looked a little doubtful. As for Qin Shouji, he sneered, "I don't really care. In any case, as long as we have enough people for this mission, we don't need a lot of combat power." That being said, Qin Shouji didn't know that Kong Shinmu was much stronger than him. At the very least, Qin Shouji had been a student of Donghuang Yongwu College for so long, but he hadn't. Kong Shinmu flew in front of the experience stone tablet and greeted Chu Yi. Then he asked, "What are you talking about?" "We have a mission that we would like to invite you to set off with us." Chu Yi said with a smile, "This mission is to go to an underground karst cave with complicated terrain to find and kill a monster. The monster has been doing evil near a city in the Sacred Abyss Dragon Country and has killed many dragon warriors and civilians." Underground karst cave? Kong Shinmu frowned slightly. It was not easy to kill a monster in an underground karst cave with complicated terrain. Moreover, they didn't know what the underground karst cave was like. "Don't worry, there's only one monster in the underground karst cave," Bao Peng said with a smile. "That monster's combat power is not strong. Any one of us can deal with it. The key is that it's good at hiding in the underground karst cave, so it's very difficult to catch it. So this time, Lin Yuji will be the team leader and lead a total of 16 people on this mission." 16 people? Kong Shinmu was a little surprised. "That's right. The more people, the faster we can find the monster. Otherwise, I'm afraid we won't be able to find a trace of it. Chuyi nodded. As for the reward, Brother Shenwu, don't worry. Even if the 16 of us divide it equally, we will still get more than an ordinary experience mission. Then, he told them about the reward. Kong Shinmu listened for a while and felt that it was not bad. If they completed this mission, they would get a higher reward than ordinary experience missions. Kong Shinmu could use these experience points to exchange for the Origin Dragon Martial Technique. Of course, he could also use them to exchange for various treasures to improve his cultivation. He could also use them to exchange for some special treasures to cultivate his chaotic dragon body. This was the Origin Dragon Martial Technique. Right now, Xiao Chen's Chaos Dragon body was just a result of using the natural treasures provided by the heaven-opening dragon. Overall, he had only cultivated it to the human level. But if he had more precious resources, Kong Shinmu could cultivate this Origin Dragon Martial Technique to a higher level. Once this body-tempering Origin Dragon Martial Technique was upgraded to a higher level, the defense of his divine dragon body would be greatly improved. There was still enough time. It was time to improve the chaotic dragon body. Most importantly, he still had to rely on the resources of Donghuang Yangwu College. Therefore, when Jiang Shenwu heard about the reward of this underground karst cave mission, the experience points seemed to be enough for him to exchange for a fire attribute treasure material. He nodded on the spot. Alright, I'm in. There were 16 people participating in this experience mission anyway. It was just to find a demonic beast. It did not sound difficult. In that case, let's go. We were only short of one person. Now that you've joined, we can inform Lin Yuji and the others to go. Chuyi nodded and immediately sent out the message. Bao Peng was friendly to Kong Shinmu. As for Qin Shoji, it did not matter who joined, so it did not matter. Soon, a total of 12 people came to the experience stone tablet. When they saw that the newcomer was Kong Shinmu, they could not help but laugh and joke, asking if he had recovered from his injuries. Obviously, these students felt that Kong Shinmu was a little too desperate to accept the mission when he had not recovered from his injuries. I've recovered. Thank you for your concern. Jiang Shenwu said in a neither haughty nor humble manner. It's best if you really recover. Qin Shoji smiled maliciously. I'm just afraid that when you find the demonic beast, you will not be able to defeat it. That would be embarrassing. Kong Shinmu glanced at him and ignored him. This person was Qin Fengyu's elder brother. Seeing the tit-for-tat between him and Qin Fengyu, Kong Shinmu knew that this guy was ruthless with his words. If he were to compete with him, he would be asking for trouble. Finally, Lin Yuji appeared. She looked at Kong Shinmu in surprise and nodded to him in a friendly manner. You're here too. This time, let's work together. Seeing that Lin Yuji seemed to trust and be friendly to Kong Shinmu, many students were surprised. Chapter 42-44. Of course, Kong Shinmu wouldn't say that Lin Yuji won because Zhou Xiaofan helped her. He glanced at Lin Yuji and nodded lightly. Remember, you can have half a year of my cultivation qualification in Kaiyang district. Lin Yuji walked to Kong Shinmu's side and whispered in his ear. No one heard her. But when the people around saw Lin Yuji being so close to Kong Shinmu, they couldn't help but feel a little surprised. Some were even a little jealous. They were somewhat suspicious. Could it be that Lin Yuji and Jiang Shenwu had developed feelings for each other after their fight? As for what exactly was going on, no one knew except for Lin Yuji and Kong Shinmu. Of course, Yu Tianchang might also know, but she wouldn't spread it. It wouldn't do anyone any good. Since everyone is here, let's go. Under Lin Yuji's lead, a total of 16 students from Donghuang Yangwu College passed through the East Emperor Formation and prepared to go to the sacred Deep Dragon Country. Only then did Kong Shinmu remember that Xiaohuang Dragon Country, where the Fire Phoenix Princess was from, was a subsidiary country of the Sacred Deep Dragon Country. He didn't expect the mission to be in the Sacred Deep Dragon Country. Of course, the location of the mission had nothing to do with Kong Shinmu. He would come back after completing the mission. If there wasn't a mission, he wouldn't go there again. When the 16 people walked out of the East Emperor Formation, they were already in the Sacred Deep Dragon Country. In the Sacred Abyss Dragon Country, almost all the buildings were white, which was very different from the architectural style of the other Dragon Emperor Empire. It made people feel much happier. They appeared in one of the largest cities in the Sacred Deep Dragon Country, Zhuiyuan Dragon City. Zhuiyuan Dragon City was tens of thousands of miles wide. There were hundreds of millions of civilians and dragon practitioners living in the city. Lin Yuji brought Jiang Shenwu and the other 15 people, a total of 16 people, to the general's residence in Zhuiyuan Dragon City. This training mission was issued by Zhuiyuan Dragon City's general's mansion. The genius students of Donghuang Yangwu College are here. Nice to meet you. Please come in. A burly general wearing metal armor stood at the entrance of the general's mansion. His eyes lit up when he saw Lin Yuji and the others. When Lin Yuji accepted the mission, the general's residence had already received the news. Hence, the general personally stood guard here, waiting for the students to arrive. This general was not weak. He actually possessed the blood essence of a divine dragon that was at the level of the Dragon Emperor. Moreover, his cultivation realm was also the strongest, the reincarnation tribulation realm. However, the mission this time was to find a demonic beast in an underground cave. That demonic beast's whereabouts were hidden and extremely cautious. Once a large group of people entered the cave, it would immediately escape without a trace. No one would be able to find it. Furthermore, the underground karst cave was too big. It would be difficult for the general to find the traces of the demonic beast by himself. However, the demonic beast often appeared in several small cities nearby. So far, it had eaten many civilians and dragon martial artists. Hence, the general's mansion had to find a way to get rid of it. Hence, they thought of entrusting the task to Donghuang Yangwu College. Anyway, the students of Donghuang Yangwu College didn't have to pay too much for revenge. The rewards for completing the mission were all given by Donghuang Yangwu College themselves. All the resources of Donghuang Yangwu College were provided by the higher-ups. Hence, the training missions given to Donghuang Yangwu College were basically just for the students to gain experience. After arriving at the general's mansion, they didn't stay for long. After the general of Sacred Abyss Dragon Country explained the situation to them, he asked one of his deputies to lead the way. They went directly to the underground karst cave. The underground karst cave was not far from Zhuiyuan Dragon City. The 16 students followed the deputy general and flew for half an hour before they reached the entrance of the underground cave. It was located in a canyon, and they entered from the canyon. According to the general, there were many exits to the underground karst cave. Hence, it wouldn't be easy to find the demonic beast. After bringing them to the entrance of the underground karst cave, the deputy left first. Everyone in the Dragon Emperor Empire trusted the students of Donghuang Yangwu College very much. As long as they took action, the problem would be solved. We'll form a team of 2 to avoid any accidents. After entering the underground karst cave, everyone must remember the route you're taking. Don't get lost inside. Lin Yuji explained. She even carefully prepared some things for this training mission. She took out a total of 8 strangely shaped jade stones. This is a map record jade. Carry it with you and it can record the route you'll take next. We'll form a team of 2, and each team will carry a map record jade. The time limit is 3 days. If we don't find the demonic beast after 3 days, we'll return to the entrance of the underground karst cave and put together the route recorded in the map record jade into a new map. Okay. Everyone nodded solemnly. The next step was to divide the team into groups. Lin Yuji took the lead. I'll form a team with Kang Xinmu. The rest of you can find someone you're familiar with. Is that okay? Everyone's expression changed when they heard this. They didn't expect that Lin Yuji not only gave preferential treatment to Kang Xinmu, but also wanted to group with Kang Xinmu. Yuji, this isn't appropriate, right? Immediately, a young man stood up to speak. He was also one of the students from Yaoguang district and had always been pursuing Lin Yuji. Originally, Lin Yuji had gone to Kaiyang district before him, which made him feel a strong sense of crisis. He didn't expect that Kang Xinmu would suddenly appear, and inexplicably made Lin Yuji treat him differently. What's inappropriate about it? Lin Yuji glanced at him and said coldly, Kang Xinmu was injured in the battle with me. He hasn't fully recovered yet. I'm bringing him along as a way of helping each other. If any of you feel that you need to take care of, you can say it now. Lin Yuji glanced around and said faintly. Of course, no one would stand up and say that they needed to be taken care of. Wouldn't that be admitting their incompetence in front of Lin Yuji? Every student of Donghuang Yangwu College was proud and arrogant. Naturally, they wouldn't do such a thing. But Kang Xinmu didn't expect that Lin Yuji would want to take care of him. Although his injuries were already healed, outsiders didn't know that. Since Lin Yuji said so, then let them all think so. When Lin Yuji said this, the others finally didn't have any objections. They looked for their teammates and grouped up. Chapter 42-45. Seeing that Kang Xinmu could be with Lin Yuji, Chu Yi came to Kang Xinmu's side and pushed him. Hey, brother Shenwu, have you developed some feelings for this beauty Lin Yuji from the fight? Chu Yi winked at Kang Xinmu. What feelings? You're thinking too much. Kang Xinmu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Impossible. Chu Yi chuckled. I see that Lin Yuji looks at you differently. Then she takes care of me more. Kang Xinmu shook his head and said, I don't know why she takes care of me so much. AI. Chu Yi sighed. Why don't I have such good luck to be favored by such a beauty? By the way, I heard that you have 2 beauties in the charming inn. What about them? How about you give one to me? Don't you have a beauty in your group? Why are you thinking so much? Kang Xinmu looked at him with disdain. It had to be said that Kang Xinmu was too serious in the past, but after spending so much time with Chu Yi, sometimes he was infected with some liveliness. AI, who would complain about having too many beauties, right? Chu Yi chuckled and patted Kang Xinmu's shoulder. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Brother, I'm going to cultivate my feelings with the girl first. We'll talk later. This time, you're with Lin Yuji, so there shouldn't be any danger. I won't worry about you. You better protect your sister well. Kang Xinmu said with a smile. Do I need you to say that? Chu Yi laughed and turned to leave. In the distance, the young man who had been pursuing Lin Yuji looked at Kang Xinmu with jealousy. Qin Shouji, who was in the same group as Bao Peng, was also very envious of Kang Xinmu. He shook his head. AI, if I had known earlier, I would have challenged Lin Yuji and pretended to be injured. Then I would definitely be in the same group as her. Come on. Bao Peng said with a smile, Kang Xinmu was really injured, it wasn't an act. It's only natural for Beauty Lin to take care of a new student. Doesn't Donghuang Yangwu College always advocate helping each other? Helping each other? Aren't we competing with each other? Qin Shouji rolled his eyes. The weak will never be able to support a wall. Only by competing with each other can the strong become stronger. Helping each other is completely useless. When Jiang Shenwu heard Qin Shouji's words, he felt that they were quite correct. Unfortunately, it was impossible for Kang Xinmu to have a good impression of Qin Shoji, because his mouth was too stinky. Soon, the 16 people were divided into groups, and the jade record was distributed to each group. The preparations were almost done, and it was time to set off. If too many people enter at the same time, the demonic beast will sense it, so we have to go in groups one by one. Lin Yuji was slender and elegant. This time, she was wearing a tight black combat suit, which showed off her impressive figure to the fullest. She said seriously, the first group and the second group will enter at least an hour apart. When each group encounters a fork, they must make a mark at the fork. This way, the people who come later won't have to go through the same fork. Yes. Everyone was very clear about her plan. After all, they were all elites of Donghuang Yangwu College, so there wasn't a problem with their intelligence. The 16 people were divided into 8 groups, with Lin Yuji and Kang Xinmu taking the lead. The others would enter the underground karst cave after an hour. The entire underground karst cave had a complicated terrain, and there were hundreds of paths. In reality, it was almost impossible for them to search the entire underground karst cave with just this few people. Moreover, the demonic beast could move, so finding it was even more difficult than searching the entire underground karst cave. But if more people came, the demonic beast would probably be scared away, and it would be impossible to find any traces of the demonic beast. This was also the most awkward part, choosing such an underground karst cave as a hiding place. The demonic beast had chosen a good place. Very quickly, Lin Yuji led Kang Xinmu into the underground karst cave. This karst cave was rather humid, but it was quite spacious. It was said that the inside was also relatively spacious, so it wouldn't be a problem for them to transform into their dragon form and fight. Moreover, the target demonic beast was also very large, so there was nothing to worry about. Jiang Shenwu raised his head and looked up. Countless stalactites hung down from the sky. Some of the stone tips had already been broken off and were dripping with water. The karst cave was spacious, but the two of them had only walked for less than half a kilometer when they saw the first fork in the road. Moreover, it was a 4-way fork. They chose the fork on the far right, and along the way, they held torches in their hands, illuminating their surroundings. Wait. Not long after Lin Yuji turned into the fork, she stretched out her hand to stop Kang Xinmu, and began to move with a solemn expression. Kang Xinmu looked at her movements, and understood that she was setting up a trap. This trap was called the demonic beast trap. If a demonic beast passed by, the trap would work. Even if it couldn't catch the demonic beast, it would let the person who set the trap know that a demonic beast passed by. And if a dragon martial artist passed by, the demonic beast trap would not have any reaction. Done. After a while, Lin Yuji finished setting the trap, and nodded in satisfaction. Then she led Kang Xinmu forward. The two walked together, and no one spoke first. Only the sound of water dripping could be heard. Not long after, another fork appeared in front of them. The terrain of the underground karst cave was complicated, and if they didn't bring the map jade, they would likely be trapped inside, and no one knew what kind of danger they would encounter. Until 2 hours later, they had advanced at least 30 miles, but the underground karst cave was crooked, and they were not far from their original position in a straight line. As they went deeper into the underground karst cave, it was obvious that the surrounding environment was even more gloomy and cold. Kang Xinmu didn't feel any sense of security following Lin Yuji, but walking with a beauty in this gloomy place wasn't too bad. "How's your injury?" At this time, Lin Yuji was almost sure that the others must be far away, and finally took the lead to ask Kang Xinmu. Of course, when she spoke, she lowered her voice, so that the sound wouldn't spread too far and scare away the target demonic beast hiding in the dark. The target demonic beast was huge, and once it appeared in their field of vision, they would definitely notice it, so there was no need to keep silent. "It's nothing serious, thank you for your concern." Kang Xinmu glanced at her back, and had to admit that the black tight-fitting body was extremely tempting. You recovered so quickly? Chapter 42-46. Seeing her look of complete disbelief, Kang Xinmu was silent for a moment, then said, I haven't fully recovered, but I should be able to handle a normal battle. How much combat power can you still exert? Lin Yuji asked unhurriedly, since we're walking together, we should get to know each other a little better. About 80% of the time I sparred with you. Kang Xinmu gave a random number. In fact, he could already exert 100% of his combat power, but in order not to arouse Lin Yuji's suspicions, it was better to keep a low profile. However, even this low-profile number still shocked Lin Yuji. Looks like the body-refining dragon technique you practice has a good recovery ability. Lin Yuji nodded and said, then I can rest assured. Later when we find the target demon beast, remember to go first, after all your skin is thicker. Kang Xinmu heard this and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This beauty was in his group, and had such an idea. She had taken a fancy to the body-refining dragon technique he practiced, and could be used as a meat shield. Kang Xinmu was somewhat helpless about this. He had thought that Lin Yuji really had some thoughts about him, but it seemed like he had thought too much. Although he was still a teenager, he had grown up quite a bit, and already had the narcissism unique to men. Of course, this narcissism was self-confidence, and as a man, self-confidence was a must. The two continued forward. In the underground cave, there was basically no other sound, it was very quiet. When do you plan to come to Kaiyang district to train? Remember to tell me in advance, I'll give up my spot for you. When Lin Yuji said this, she didn't act coy at all. To her, she was very talented anyway, giving up half a year to train in Kaiyang district was not a big deal, she could make up for it sooner or later in the future. Kang Xinmu wanted to say something but stopped. After thinking for a while, he said, actually, I'm not in a hurry to go to Kaiyang district to train. Right now, what I need more is to raise my cultivation level, not the grade of the divine dragon blood. How about I give up that half a year, and you transfer some experience points to me? You want me to exchange them for heaven and earth treasures to raise your cultivation? Lin Yuji couldn't help but burst into laughter. This was the first time she had encountered such a strange request. One should know that there was only one reason for cultivators to enroll in Donghuang Yangwu College, and that was to become a super mystical dragon that surpassed the Dragon Emperor. And the most important thing was to absorb the energy of the Dragon Mark. The faster he absorbed the Dragon Mark's energy, the more hope he had of stepping into the level of Super Dragon Emperor. This also meant that it was the dream of every student of Donghuang Yangwu College to be able to cultivate in an area with more intense Dragon Mark energy. But now, Kang Xinmu didn't want to go to Mizar district to cultivate, but only wanted some experience points. This made Lin Yuji look down on Kang Xinmu. She secretly shook her head, thinking that Kang Xinmu was a little short-sighted. After all, although experience points could improve Kang Xinmu's strength, in the long run, experience points would not be lacking. Instead, it was an opportunity to absorb more Dragon Mark energy, which could only be encountered by chance. In her opinion, Kang Xinmu's choice was like picking up sesame seeds and throwing away watermelons. So, she suddenly lost interest in Kang Xinmu. Originally, she thought that Kang Xinmu's talent was not bad, and his methods were a little strange. Maybe in the future, he could become someone who grew up with her. But now, she felt that Kang Xinmu's vision was a little too low. Of course, to her, compared giving Kang Xinmu some experience points and letting Kang Xinmu cultivate in Mizar district for half a year under her name, she was more inclined to give some points to Kang Xinmu. Because she could get experience points as long as she spent time, but the opportunity to absorb Dragon Mark energy in Mizar district could not be measured by time. Of course, Lin Yuji felt that Kang Xinmu also had another idea, which was to first increase his combat power, and then strive to go to a deeper area to cultivate. In this way, it would indeed be more efficient, but that was only for the extremely talented dragon warriors. Because if one's talent was not enough, it would take a long time to reach Mizar district to cultivate. I hope he's the one with enough talent. If that's the case, I can look forward to his rise. Lin Yuji glanced at Kang Xinmu, still holding some expectations for him. Then she thought for a moment and said, "What do you need? I'll use experience points to exchange for it. Since you don't want the opportunity to cultivate in Mizar district for half a year, I'll give you 3 months worth of experience points. What do you think?" This was also a kind of compensation for Kang Xinmu. After all, she knew that she could defeat Kang Xinmu in the school competition, but there were some dishonorable factors involved. Sure. Kang Xinmu readily agreed. 3 months worth of experience points, that would save him 3 months of time. These experience points could completely raise his combat power to another level. Donghuang Yangwu College was very rich in resources, but everything needed to be exchanged with experience points. With Lin Yuji's current strength, 3 months worth of experience points was already quite a lot. At least, Kang Xinmu could obtain all kinds of treasures. He calculated a little, he could exchange for some treasures to raise his cultivation level. He should be able to raise his cultivation level by about 1 level, reaching the 4th level of the Nirvana Tribulation realm. Then he could also exchange for some precious materials to cultivate the chaotic dragon body, the body refining type dragon martial technique. In this way, the chaotic dragon body should be able to be cultivated to the earth level, or even the dragon level. That would allow Kang Xinmu's combat power to rise sharply. For him, defense was everything. As for offensive power, it would be enough to raise his cultivation level to make up for it. Moreover, he could use the experience points he obtained to exchange for a higher level attack type dragon martial technique. These plans made Kang Xinmu quite satisfied. He had no idea that because of his choice, Lin Yuji's view of him had changed, and she had started to look down on him. But even if he knew, it didn't matter. He didn't need Lin Yuji to think highly of him. Regarding this topic, the two quickly reached a consensus. After Lin Yuji returned, she would use the experience points she obtained in 3 months to exchange for some things for Kang Xinmu. Of course, it was impossible for Kang Xinmu to give her a list of the specific things. They could only talk about it when they returned. At this moment, the two of them suddenly heard a strange sound coming from the tunnel ahead. This sound was like a cat's cry, a little mournful and a little creepy. It's a Liang cat beast. Lin Yuji and Kang Xinmu looked at each other and instantly became serious. The Liang cat beast was the demonic beast they needed to deal with this time. They didn't expect to find it so quickly, but they didn't expect it to appear in front of them so quickly. Let's go. Chapter 42-47. Kang Xinmu and Lin Yuji moved at almost the same time, running towards the spacious underground karst cave at their quickest pace. The underground karst cave was quite spacious, and a giant lynx-like demonic beast soon appeared in front of them. However, it was extremely agile, shuttling through the underground karst cave. It just so happened that the Liang cat beast was coming from the other side, intending to pass right in front of Lin Yuji and Kang Xinmu. Unfortunately, it was blocked by them. The giant lynx-like demonic beast's silver fur stood on end. It had not expected that someone had already entered its lair. Its cat-like eyes were originally focused on the path ahead, but it soon noticed Kang Xinmu and Lin Yuji coming out of the tunnel at the side. It immediately became somewhat fierce. Attack! Lin Yuji and Kang Xinmu did not hesitate. One of them attacked the Liang cat beast's head, while the other attacked its tail. One had to know that the tail of the Liang cat beast was also an extremely weak spot. The tail of the Liang cat beast was its strongest fighting strength. Once the tail was destroyed, the Liang cat beast's fighting strength would be greatly reduced, and it would only be able to display less than half of its strength. Therefore, Kang Xinmu attacked the Liang cat beast's tail. As for Lin Yuji, she transformed into a dragon and flew towards the Liang cat beast's head, roaring in an attempt to attract the Liang cat beast's attention. Origin Dragon Technique, Jade Shade. An extremely powerful dragon technique erupted in an instant. Coupled with the Dragon King's divine dragon inheritance blood essence, countless white light beams descended and swept towards the Liang cat beast. At the same time, Kang Xinmu instantly activated the Void Dragon Sky Raising Break. 6 black dragon light beams bombarded the Liang cat beast's tail. Under the pincer attack of the two, the Liang cat beast's silver fur emitted a terrifying aura. Waves of silver light formed a silver storm that swept towards the two. The power of the two and the Liang cat beast clashed in mid-air, creating a terrifying destructive force that caused the entire underground karst cave to tremble. However, the Liang cat beast's battle prowess wasn't that great. Just as the person from the general's estate had said, the most difficult part of the operation this time was to find the tracks of the Liang cat beast and not to fight it. So long as they found the Liang cat beast and ensured that it wouldn't escape, then with the ability of the students of Donghuang Yangwu College, they would be able to annihilate the Liang cat beast. This Liang cat beast had already eaten many civilians and dragon martial artists in the nearby towns, so when Kang Xinmu and Lin Yuji attacked, they showed no mercy. Both sides attacked together, instantly suppressing the Liang cat beast. Terrifying power enveloped it, causing the silver fur on the Liang cat beast's body to break and blood to spurt out. The pitch-black nirvana devouring power had already invaded the other party's wound, allowing Kang Xinmu to devour the other party's flesh and blood essence. At the same time, the tail of the beam cat beast that he had attacked with his Void Dragon Sky Raising Break had already suffered heavy injuries. In just a short while, the Liang cat beast was already heavily injured, and was on the verge of death. After devouring some of the Liang cat beast's flesh and blood essence, Kang Xinmu's condition became better than before. Moreover, this Liang cat beast could use the power of the wind attribute. This allowed Kang Xinmu's resistance against the power of the wind attribute to increase by a lot after devouring its power. Of course, there was only one Liang cat beast in this underground karst cave. This was the information provided by Zhuoyuan Dragon City's general's estate. So as long as they dealt with this Liang cat beast, they could go back and report. In less than the time it took to drink a cup of tea, the Liang cat beast was dead. Lin Yuji returned to her human form and landed beside the corpse of the Liang cat beast that was like a small hill. She smiled coldly and said, "Our luck is not bad, we actually encountered this Liang cat beast. Now, let's bring this corpse back and the mission will be considered complete." Kang Xinmu nodded. This battle was very simple, the Liang cat beast did not give them any pressure. Lin Yuji sighed and said, "If I knew that our luck was so good, I wouldn't have brought so many people in. Now, I still have to share the mission reward equally with so many people." Kang Xinmu did not have such a thought. In any case, he was only here to earn experience points. Now that he had obtained experience points, and it did not take much time, he was already very satisfied. With such a large corpse of the Liang cat beast, the two of them would definitely have to transform into a dragon before they could carry it away. Lin Yuji had already returned to her human form. Kang Xinmu thought for a moment and decided that he was a man after all, he should bear this kind of hard labor. He maintained the body of a black divine dragon and planned to take this Liang cat beast's corpse away. However, at this moment, suddenly, from the underground karst cave that extended in all directions, several mournful and eerie cat cries sounded. These cat cries reached Lin Yuji and Kang Xinmu's ears, causing their expressions to change. Wasn't this the cry of the Liang cat beast? Could it be that there was more than one Liang cat beast? Soon, they found out the answer. Before Kong Shinmu could drag this Liang cat beast's corpse away, two other giant Liang cat beasts appeared from the underground karst cave. Each of them looked extremely ferocious, and their eyes shone with a murderous light as they madly pounced towards Kong Shinmu and Lin Yuji. Be careful. Before Lin Yuji could transform into a dragon, Kong Shinmu used his black divine dragon body to block the attack of one of the Liang cat beasts. Immediately after, Lin Yuji transformed into a dragon and activated the Jade Shadow Dragon martial skill. Countless white light beams shot out and attacked one of the Liang cat beasts. At this time, whether it was Lin Yuji or Kong Shinmu, their hearts were a little heavy. Because it was very obvious that the information given by Zhuayuan Dragon City's general residence was wrong. There was more than one Liang cat beast in this underground karst cave, there were many of them. Furthermore, this was very likely the nest of the Liang cat beasts. After one died, two more appeared. Then, while Kong Shinmu and Lin Yuji each dealt with one Liang cat beast, four more Liang cat beasts suddenly appeared from the surrounding underground karst caves. Each Liang cat beast was the size of a giant hill, and their eyes shone with a murderous light. It was obvious that they held a strong grudge against Kong Shinmu and Lin Yuji for invading their nest. Not to mention that Kong Shinmu and Lin Yuji had killed one of their own. In the blink of an eye, Kong Shinmu and Lin Yuji each faced three Liang cat beasts. At first, it was very easy for them to fight two against one, but now, they both felt the pressure. When these Liang cat beasts joined forces, the entire underground karst cave was filled with silver gales. In the midst of these gales, the Liang cat beasts' combat strength increased, and Kong Shinmu and Lin Yuji's movements were greatly hindered. This unexpected situation caused Lin Yuji to grit her teeth in anger. The Sacred Abyss Dragon Country's general residence actually provided false information. It's possible that they didn't know there was more than one Liang cat beast. Chapter 42-48. There was no doubt that the terrain of this underground karst cave was very complicated. If one had not explored it, it would be impossible to know how many Liang cat beasts there were. Kong Shinmu did not have the time to guess whether the Sacred Abyss Dragon Country's general knew that there were more Liang cat beasts here. Right now, he and Lin Yuji only had one choice, and that was to kill all the Liang cat beasts in front of them. Otherwise, they would not be able to leave this place alive. If it was just escaping, who knew how many Liang cat beasts they would encounter halfway through the wide and complicated underground karst cave. Therefore, the best way was to kill all the Liang cat beasts in front of them. Lin Yuji was trembling with anger. Even though she was a student from Kaiyang District, she could not crush the Liang cat beasts easily. With so many Liang cat beasts attacking together, she could still deal with them in a short period of time. However, as time went on, she would lose as her stamina ran out. At that time, the group of Liang cat beasts could easily kill her in this underground karst cave if they used the tactic of taking turns. On the other hand, Kong Shinmu did not look too worried. After all, to him, it did not matter how many Liang cat beasts there were. If they wanted to kill him, they would have to be someone much stronger than him to kill him in one move. The battle began. The entire underground cavern was surrounded by Liang cat beasts, and not even a drop of water could trickle through. Kong Shinmu turned into a black dragon, and his devouring power burst out in all directions. He continuously used the Void Dragon Sky Raising Break, which was a dragon martial technique, to injure one Liang cat beast after another. Then, the pitch-black devouring power corroded their bodies. Before long, Kong Shinmu was surrounded by 5 Liang cat beasts. However, he was not worried at all. Instead, he became more and more courageous as he fought. This was because no matter what kind of injuries he suffered, the devouring power could devour the Liang cat beast's life, flesh, and essence, and heal his injuries in an instant. It was also because the nirvana power that he consumed when executing various dragon martial skills could be replenished through the devouring power. On the other hand, the Liang cat beasts that besieged him had been corroded by the devouring power, causing their fighting strength to weaken. In the beginning, they could still injure Kong Shinmu, but later on, they couldn't even break through Kong Shinmu's defense. Chaotic Dragon Body, Martial Dragon God's Shield. With all these defensive techniques combined, it was almost impossible for someone of the same level to kill Kong Shinmu. Bang! As another Liang cat beast fell to the ground, Kong Shinmu was still in peak condition. On the ground, there were already 4 Liang cat beast corpses. At first, Kong Shinmu and Lin Yuji worked together to kill one. Later, Lin Yuji risked her injuries to kill another one. The other 2 were killed by Kong Shinmu. At this moment, Lin Yuji turned around and glanced at Jiang Shenwu. She almost jumped out of her skin in shock. In such a short time, Kong Shinmu had killed 2 Liang cat beasts. His speed was twice as fast as hers. Moreover, from the looks of it, she was already injured. She had risked her injuries to kill the Liang cat beast. On the other hand, Kong Shinmu was clearly still in peak condition. Lin Yuji even felt that he still had some strength left. This Kong Shinmu is actually so strong. Lin Yuji couldn't believe it. When she fought with Kong Shinmu during the competition, she didn't feel that Kong Shinmu was twice as strong as her. At most, he was on par with her and had a certain chance of beating her. But now, it seemed that Kong Shinmu was much stronger than her. Didn't this mean that without the help of Dean's Xiaofan, Lin Yuji would probably be defeated by Kong Shinmu? That's right, when I was fighting him, I already received a boost in strength. But now, I don't have that bonus, so there's a gap in combat power. You mean? Kong Shinmu actually surpassed me long ago. It's just that he was unlucky and didn't manage to challenge Kaiyang District. Lin Yuji couldn't accept it no matter how she thought about it. But now the situation was clear. Kong Shinmu's combat power far surpassed hers, and the most important thing was his endurance. No matter how much strength Kong Shinmu consumed, he could replenish it. No matter what kind of injury Kong Shinmu suffered, he could devour the essence of flesh and blood to recover. This kind of heaven-defying ability from devouring nirvana force was something no one could have. Just like the little girl beside Kong Shinmu, Ran, although she cultivated the dark dragon filth controlling skill, it could only heal injuries. If Ran's strength was depleted, she might not even be able to use the dark dragon filth controlling skill. But Kong Shinmu was different. Kong Shinmu's devouring nirvana force could not only heal injuries, but also replenish strength. There was no power more heaven-defying than this in this world. Lin Yuji gritted her teeth, unwilling to admit defeat. She risked her life to kill more Liang cat beasts. It just so happened that her wish was fulfilled. Soon, more Liang cat beasts appeared in the underground karst cave that extended in all directions. The originally spacious underground cave became a little narrow with so many Liang cat beasts and 2 divine dragons squeezing together. Many Liang cat beasts stayed further away and glared at the 2 of them. However, they did not wait to watch the show. Instead, they fused the power of the Silver Hurricane together and attacked Kong Shinmu and Lin Yuji together, forming an even stronger hurricane attack. Even Kong Shinmu found it harder and harder to resist. The number of Liang cat beasts in the surroundings had already exceeded 10. How could it be so easy to resist the combined attack of 10 Liang cat beasts? Kong Shinmu relied on various body tempering techniques, defensive dragon martial techniques, and the power of devouring to barely hold on. Lin Yuji, after suffering an even stronger attack, was covered in light and could not hold on for much longer. Come to my side. Kong Shinmu roared at her and covered the side of Lin Yuji with his power of devouring, just in time to block the silver hurricane that came from the side. At this critical juncture, Lin Yuji did not care too much and immediately retreated behind Kong Shinmu. The two divine dragons finally had their backs against each other. "How are you?" Lin Yuji endured the pain from the wounds on her body and asked. "I'm fine. Be careful. If you can't handle it, just hide behind me. I can hold on," Kong Shinmu said casually. To him, the current situation was really nothing. But Lin Yuji was a little touched when she heard this. No matter how strong Kong Shinmu was, he was only slightly stronger than her. Now that he wanted to protect her, it was simply, but at this moment, Kong Shinmu's eyes turned cold. A golden liang cat beast that was bigger than ordinary liang cat beasts suddenly appeared at the end of one of the underground caves. The golden liang cat beast glanced at Kong Shinmu like a king looking down on the world, not taking Kong Shinmu seriously at all. The leader of the liang cat beasts? Chapter 42-49. The leader of the liang cat beasts is covered in golden fur. It looks majestic and looks disdainfully at the world. Just by squatting there are countless golden whirlwinds revolving around it. Its eyes are filled with ferocity. Naturally, it does not have a good impression of the two little dragon warriors who have invaded its territory. Killing intent is spreading. Not good. Lin Yuji is already on the verge of collapsing. Seeing the leader of the liang cat beasts, her face immediately darkens. At this moment, she has already used her dragon weapon. It is a heaven-level dragon weapon, the strongest dragon weapon. However, she is still unable to control this dragon weapon very well. It was prepared for her by her family after she qualified to enter Donghuang Yangwu College. Therefore, her heaven-level dragon weapon is unable to display too much of its power. The key is that she has not reached the level of compatibility with the dragon weapon. Unlike Kong Shinmu, who can fuse with the dragon weapon. Therefore, after using the dragon weapon, her battle strength does not increase by much. In this kind of situation, her battle strength can at most deal with 3 liang cat beasts at the same time. This is already her limit. Furthermore, she will have to risk her life to kill one of them. It must be known that these liang cat beasts are very orderly. After one of them is injured, it will retreat to the side and release a silver tornado to attack her from afar. While she is surrounded by other liang cat beasts, she cannot find a chance to break out. Lin Yuji, who has problems dealing with ordinary liang cat beasts, immediately changes her expression when she sees the leader of the golden liang cat beasts. She feels that the situation is a little difficult. Originally, she thought that it was still okay. But now, if she wants to leave this place alive, it will depend on luck. Kong Shinmu, when she looks at Kong Shinmu, she discovered that the ordinary liang cat beasts that are attacking Kong Shinmu are actually on the verge of death. There are a total of 8 liang cat beasts. Looking at their injuries, they are not fatal. However, these 8 liang cat beasts look like they are about to die. Obviously, Kong Shinmu's attack has some special effect. This caused Lin Yuji to widen her eyes in disbelief. Kong Shinmu actually possessed such terrifying strength? Kong Shinmu, the leader of the liang cat beasts, possesses the strength to fight against the Dragon King at the peak of the Nirvana Tribulation realm. Are you confident? Lin Yuji's face darkened. Even though she saw that Kong Shinmu dealt with the ordinary beam cat beasts smoothly, the strength of the leader of the beam cat beasts far surpassed them. If it had appeared from the beginning, I might not have been able to defeat it, but now, Jiang Shenwu glanced at the leader of the golden beam cat beasts. His nervous heart had already calmed down. Currently, his nirvana devouring power had already devoured a lot of energy from ordinary beam cat beasts. Therefore, he had a very strong resistance against the wind attribute attacks of the beam cat beasts. If the leader of the golden beam cat beasts could have killed Kong Shinmu with a single move, then the current Kong Shinmu definitely wouldn't be killed by a single move. This gave Kong Shinmu a chance. There were still many dying beam cat beasts around, so Kong Shinmu temporarily stopped absorbing their flesh essence. This was because it would still be useful against the leader of the beam cat beasts. Right at this moment, 2 loud dragon roars suddenly rang out from one of the underground caverns. Following that, 2 divine dragons flew out. The other students had arrived. It's Bao Peng and Qin Shouji. Kong Shinmu recognized the 2 divine dragons the moment he saw them. Great, we can work together. Lin Yuji was secretly delighted to see the 2, but she was immediately stunned. Following closely behind the 2 divine dragons was another golden beam cat beast. Its strength was almost the same as the golden beam cat beast that was glaring at them. Behind the golden beam cat beast were several silver beam cat beasts, chasing after Bao Peng and Qin Shouji. They were delighted to see Kong Shinmu and Lin Yuji. Lin Yuji. Kong Shinmu. That's great, you're here. Qin Shouji shamelessly hid behind Lin Yuji. As for Bao Peng, she wasn't so direct and shameless. She flew to Lin Yuji's side, planning to fight with her. Of course, the 2 were happy to see allies. But very soon, their happy faces froze, because they saw a golden beam cat beast glaring at them like a tiger watching its prey. They had just fought the leader of the golden beam cat beasts for a while and were already injured. They knew they weren't a match for it. But now, 2 of them appeared at once. In this kind of terrain, the 2 golden beam cat beasts and the dozen or so ordinary beam cat beasts around them were definitely not easy to deal with. Moreover, this place seemed to be close to the center of the underground karst tunnel. There were karst tunnels all around them, and there was at least 1 ordinary beam cat beast eyeing them covetously from each tunnel. Are we surrounded? Qin Shouji shuddered. It looks like we're surrounded. Bao Peng sighed, but very quickly, he looked at Jiang Shenwu, who seemed to still be in battle. Furthermore, he looked as lively as a dragon and a tiger, causing his expression to change slightly. This Kong Shinmu seemed to be very strong in battle. Qin Shouji saw that Lin Yuji's injuries weren't light, but when he saw that Jiang Shenwu wasn't injured at all, he couldn't help but snort coldly. Jiang Shenwu, aren't you being too unmanly? Lin Yuji is still fighting even though she's injured, but you're hiding behind her and are still unharmed. Did Sister Lin kill all these beam cat beasts? That's amazing. Bao Peng couldn't help but praise when he saw several dead beam cat beasts. He and Qin Shouji couldn't defeat 3 ordinary beam cat beasts even if they joined forces, but there were 6 dead beam cat beasts here. 8 of them were even on the verge of death. They thought it was Lin Yuji's doing, but in the end, it wasn't me. I only killed 2 of them at most. The expression on Lin Yuji's pretty face was somewhat complicated. She glanced in the direction of Jiang Shenwu and said, the others were all killed by him alone. What? His words struck Bao Peng and Qin Shouji like a bolt of lightning. Sister Lin, you're joking, right? Qin Shouji didn't believe it. Didn't this kid lose to Sister Lin in the tournament? Besides, he was seriously injured at that time. He should be suppressing his internal injuries now. How could he be so strong? Look at him now. Does he look like he has internal injuries? Lin Yuji glanced at Qin Shouji. She knew that this kid was just jealous of other people's talent. Lin Yuji wouldn't be jealous of other people's talent. When she couldn't beat someone, she would only blame herself for being too weak. She wouldn't be jealous of others. Enough with the nonsense. Right now, we are surrounded. We can only break out of the encirclement. Lin Yuji said in a low voice. She shouted at Kong Shinmu, get ready to break out. Chapter 4250. It could be done. Bao Peng and Qin Shouji looked at each other as if they had seen a ghost. What level was the leader of the golden beam cat beasts? It was equivalent to a dragon king at the pinnacle of the Nirvana tribulation realm. Although they all had inherited blood essence of the dragon king level, their cultivation base was not that high. Lin Yuji was slightly higher, but the rest were only at the 7th level of the Nirvana tribulation. This was the cultivation base they should have at their age. This was already the fastest speed in the world. Kang Shinmu was only at the 3rd level of the Nirvana tribulation. Of course, Kang Shinmu was much younger than them, so it was normal for his cultivation base to be lower than theirs. But Kang Shinmu said that he could take care of 2 golden beam cat beasts. This was very puzzling. This was absolutely impossible. If you could really take care of these 2 golden beam cat beasts, you wouldn't have lost to Sister Lin in the competition. Bao Peng could not help but advise, little brother Jiang, let's not force ourselves. Let's find a direction to break out of. We can come back after we gather and plan. Why drag it until tomorrow if we can take care of it today? Kang Shinmu said calmly. Although there was 1 more golden beam cat beast, he also had 2 more allies. As long as they cooperated, he might be able to kill all the golden beam cat beasts. After all, his resistance to the power of the wind attribute would become stronger as the battle progressed. The existence of the devouring power of Nirvana made him almost invincible in a battle of attrition. The longer the battle dragged on, the stronger he would become. Kang Shinmu, stop bragging. Hurry up and leave. Qin Shoji became slightly serious. It was not that he was jealous of Kang Shinmu, but he really did not want to see Kang Shinmu die here. After all, they were all students of Donghuang Yangwu College. If one of them died, he would lose face. Moreover, his sister, Qin Fengyu, had a good relationship with Kang Shinmu. He did not want his sister to be sad. Although Qin Shoji had a foul mouth, he was still very concerned about his sister. Lin Yuji also felt that Kang Shinmu had overestimated himself. He had only killed a few ordinary Liang cat beasts. Although some of them were heavily injured and on the verge of death, it seemed like they wouldn't die yet and would recover after a while. Once they were surrounded, they wouldn't be able to escape. No one knows how many Liang cat beasts there are. If we don't leave now, it might be too late later. Lin Yuji reminded. Of course, Kang Shinmu had thought of this as well. However, if that golden beam cat beast was really a leader-class beam cat beast, then he only needed to kill 1, then he could kill as many as he wanted. No matter how many opponents of the same level came, they could not shake Kang Shinmu. This was because he could devour the flesh and blood essence of his opponents to heal his own injuries, as well as recover the power he had expended. His stamina was almost limitless. Although it was a little dangerous, he wanted to give it a try. In any case, he would encounter danger sooner or later when he was training outside. This kind of danger was nothing at all. Don't you want to challenge stronger opponents? Kang Shinmu saw that the 3 of them had the intention to retreat, so he said in a low voice, only by challenging stronger opponents and continuously climbing the peak can we reach the top. Don't tell me you don't even understand this logic. You only need to deal with the small ones. Help me hold them off for a while. I'll deal with the 2 Liang cat beasts myself. If something happens to me, you can just leave. Don't worry about me. He had already said this much. If the others still did not want to help, then there was nothing he could do. If there was no other way, he would stay and do it himself. This, Kang Shinmu's words left the 3 speechless. However, Lin Yuji frowned slightly and immediately made a move. Alright, I'll believe you this once. Sister Lin. How can we believe this kid's words? Isn't he just setting us up? Qin Shoji felt a little helpless. If one of us dies this time, it'll be a big deal. We can't afford to bear the school's blame, you don't have to bear the responsibility. Kang Shinmu glanced at him and said indifferently, the mission this time was only to deal with 1 Liang cat beast. Not only are there many Liang cat beasts, but there's also a Liang cat beast leader. Even if something happens, it'll be the sacred abyss dragon country's responsibility. But if we can kill all of these Liang cat beasts, then the situation will be different. Think about it, they said there was only one Liang cat beast, but there are so many of them, dozens of them. If we kill them all, then wouldn't the sacred abyss dragon country respect Donghuang Yangwu College even more? Bao Peng finally nodded after hearing this. He said in deep thought, that makes sense. Qin Shouji knocked him on the head. That makes no sense at all. If you want to fight, then fight. I won't leave them behind and run away. Although this guy had a foul mouth, he was quite loyal. However, the surrounding Liang cat beasts wouldn't give them too much time to talk about loyalty. At this time, the surrounding Liang cat beasts seemed to have finished their conversation. Two golden Liang cat beasts attacked Kong Shinmu, who was the closest to them. Countless golden whirlwinds whistled toward Kong Shinmu like a tsunami. His black dragon body shuttled through the air. The dragon martial technique, extreme shadow flowing light, instantly exploded, and he actually dodged most of the attacks. The only two golden whirlwinds whistled on his black dragon body. The terrifying power could only leave two shallow scratches on his black dragon body. If Qin Shouji, Bao Peng, and Lin Yuji saw this, their eyes would definitely pop out of their sockets. Unfortunately, the three of them were tightly surrounded by the silver ordinary Liang cat beasts. There were more than 10 silver Liang cat beasts surrounding them. Countless silver whirlwinds swept from all directions, attacking Lin Yuji and the others. Since Kong Shinmu hadn't left, they couldn't leave either. In a split second, they used all kinds of methods. They even took some spirit pills that could temporarily enhance their strength and took out all kinds of dragon weapons. Light and shadows flew everywhere. Although Lin Yuji and the others couldn't kill the ordinary Liang cat beasts, it wouldn't be easy for them to kill them either. On the other side, Kong Shinmu used extreme shadow flowing light to quickly approach one of the golden Liang cat beasts. Countless wind blades flew toward Kong Shinmu like knives and swords, causing his black dragon body to splatter with blood. The golden Liang cat beasts were very strong. If not for the fact that Kong Shinmu had devoured a lot of the ordinary Liang cat beast's strength and strengthened his resistance, he would probably have died at the hands of the two golden Liang cat beasts. But now, he was only slightly injured. Although his injuries weren't light and his body was almost covered in blood, the devouring power that Kong Shinmu had left in the ordinary Liang cat beasts was activated at this moment. Chapter 42-51. Even the golden beam cat beasts could not kill Kong Shinmu in one go. Since that was the case, Kong Shinmu would use his devouring power to become stronger and stronger in battle. Countless golden whirlwinds condensed into blades, and they revolved around Jiang Shenwu before sweeping towards him. If Lin Yuji and the others were here, they would have been sliced into pieces by these golden wind blades. However, Kong Shinmu's resistance to the power of the wind element had reached an extremely high level. Although the opponent's attacks could injure him, they could not kill him. He only needed to use his devouring power to devour the blood and flesh essence of the silver beam cat beasts around him to ensure his own survival. Moreover, as time passed, his resistance to the power of the wind element would become stronger and stronger. Void Dragon Sky-Piercing Strike. Kong Shinmu also used his dragon origin attack technique and attacked the two golden beam cat beasts crazily. Although he could not cause too much damage to them for the time being and could not even leave a mark for the devouring power to enter, it still consumed a lot of energy to defend against Kong Shinmu's attacks. When their energy was almost depleted, Kong Shinmu's chance to win would come. The two golden beam cat beasts' eyes were filled with extreme solemnity and hatred. Obviously, they did not expect Kong Shinmu to be so powerful. However, since Kong Shinmu dared to enter their nest and kill their own kind, they naturally would not let Kang Xinmu go. They had to kill Kang Xinmu no matter what. Why do you hate me so much? Kang Xinmu looked at the two golden beam cat beasts' hateful eyes and sneered. If it wasn't for the fact that you often attacked the surrounding villages and killed too many civilians and dragon martial artists, the Sacred Abyss Dragon Country would not have asked us to annihilate you. Although Kang Xinmu said that, he still decided to investigate after he got out of here to see if these beam cat beasts really killed civilians and dragon martial artists in the surrounding villages, and if there was only one of them each time. If there was a multi-striped cat beast, it meant that the Sacred Abyss Dragon Country was lying to Donghuang Yangwu College. Of course, while searching for the Liang cat beast in the underground karst cave, Kang Xinmu discovered that there was a faint smell of blood coming from the depths of the underground karst cave. Furthermore, he saw many human bones along the way. This meant that these Liang cat beasts were very likely to be bad guys. Although there were also benevolent demon beasts, if one were to say that these Liang cat beasts were benevolent, then Kang Xinmu could call himself a saint. The two golden beam cat beasts kept attacking Kang Xinmu. Soon, many ordinary beam cat beasts joined in the fight against Kang Xinmu. Lin Yuji, Bao Peng, and Qin Shouji gradually felt the pressure on them lessen. They clearly hadn't killed a single beam cat beast, but the number of beam cat beasts attacking them was decreasing. Look, Kang Xinmu is, very quickly, Bao Peng's eyes were filled with shock. From his angle, he could see the situation that Jiang Shenwu was facing. What's wrong with him? Lin Yuji was a little nervous. She looked in Kang Xinmu's direction but couldn't see Kang Xinmu's situation because there were many silver beam cat beasts in the middle. He's being attacked by more than 10 Liang cat beasts, including 2 golden beam cat beasts. Bao Peng said in shock, but he's actually fine. What? Qin Shouji couldn't see Kang Xinmu's situation either, but he knew that Bao Peng wouldn't be lying after hearing her words. His heart trembled violently. Kang Xinmu could actually take on 2 golden beam cat beasts without dying. If it were them, they wouldn't be able to last long even if they used all their defensive dragon techniques. Not to mention that many silver beam cat beasts had run over to attack Kang Xinmu, abandoning the 3 of them. It was as if Kang Xinmu was a greater threat to the silver beam cat beasts than the 3 of them combined. This gave them an inconceivable feeling, almost unbelievable. Bao Peng and Qin Shouji had always thought that Kang Xinmu's battle strength was about the same as theirs, much weaker than Lin Yuji's. After all, Kang Xinmu had failed to challenge Lin Yuji. But now, the battle strength Kang Xinmu displayed made them sweat with shame. Void Dragon Sky-Piercing Strike. Kang Xinmu sneered as he watched more and more silver beam cat beasts besiege him. They posed no threat to him at all. The gathering of the silver beam cat beasts did increase the strength of the golden beam cat beasts, but they still couldn't kill Kang Xinmu. Most importantly, as long as Kang Xinmu used the Void Dragon Sky-Piercing Strike on the silver beam cat beasts, they would be injured and corroded by the Nirvana Devouring Strike. Then, Kang Xinmu could devour their life essence without limit. This was the situation that Kang Xinmu liked the most. Against the more troublesome demonic beast leaders, as long as there were demonic beast underlings around, it would be a great help to Kang Xinmu. Devour. Kang Xinmu was covered in blood after being attacked by the 2 golden beam cat beasts. But as he devoured, his internal injuries recovered in a short time. However, the blood that covered the surface of his black dragon body didn't disappear. After all, the blood wasn't his injuries. It was just a little dirty at most. This caused Bao Peng's heart to palpitate with fear. Although Kang Xinmu managed to block it, he is covered in blood. Although his aura is still there, but I have a feeling that he won't be able to last much longer. Bao Peng said anxiously. Then what should we do? Qin Shouji asked with gritted teeth. His mouth was sharp, but he didn't want to see Kang Xinmu, who was also a student of the Donghuang Dragon Martial School, die in front of him. This meant that he was useless and couldn't even protect his own classmate. Let's break through and help him. Lin Yuji gritted her teeth and made a decision. If they joined forces, their strength wouldn't be weak. Those ordinary silver beam cat beasts would basically retreat. If they stubbornly blocked their path, they would definitely be killed. But now, these silver beam cat beasts were using a will tactic. They would retreat the moment they were injured. This made it easier for Lin Yuji and the rest to break through. However, they wouldn't give up on Kong Shinmu, who was still fighting. Kong Shinmu, we're coming. Bao Peng shouted and cooperated with Qin Shoji and Lin Yuji. The three divine dragons quickly broke through the underground cavern. The ordinary silver beam cat beasts were injured and retreated, allowing the three of them to get closer to Kong Shinmu. You guys take care of yourselves. I can handle things here. Kong Shinmu was somewhat touched when he saw them disregarding the danger to come to his aid. However, he was in great condition now and didn't need any help. At this moment, the silver beam cat beasts seemed to have sensed something. Under the lead of the golden beam cat beast leader, they retreated rapidly. The speed at which they retreated was even faster than when they came. In a flash, they had already disappeared. Chapter 42-52. They ran away. Jiang Shenwu's black dragon body glanced in the direction where the two golden beam cat beasts escaped and said in a deep voice. Ran away? Lin Yuji and the other two looked at each other. Bao Peng was confused. Didn't they have the upper hand? Why did they suddenly run away? Did someone else catch up? They're already at a disadvantage. Kong Shinmu shook his head. The two golden beam cat beast leaders should have sensed it. If they keep fighting, they'll die in my hands. Qin Shoji couldn't help but mock. When can you change your bad habit of bragging? It's already good enough that you're still alive. You're still bragging that they'll die in your hands? He definitely didn't believe Kong Shinmu's words. After all, Jiang Shenwu was covered in blood from head to toe and looked like he was seriously injured. As for the two golden beam cat beast leaders, they seemed to be agile and seemed to be uninjured. How could he believe that Kong Shinmu would kill the Liang cat beasts? In his eyes, this was undoubtedly bragging. Even Lin Yuji didn't believe Jiang Shenwu's words. She secretly shook her head. She felt that Jiang Shenwu had gone too far with his words. He was clearly seriously injured and on the verge of death, yet he was still so stubborn. Let's chase. Kong Shinmu said, I'll chase one by myself. You three team up and chase the other. Still chasing? Qin Shoji jumped up like a dog whose tail had been stepped on. You're about to die and you're still chasing. What we should do now is to go back and think about it. Yes. Bao Peng nodded. I also think we should go back and explain the situation to the Sacred Abyss Dragon Country. We need to see if their information is wrong. We obviously need to increase the reward. Isn't the reward for the mission determined by the Academy's rules and regulations? Kong Shinmu frowned. As long as we bring back the bodies of the Liang cat beasts, the Academy will naturally increase the reward. The point is, can you kill these Liang cat beasts? Qin Shoji snorted coldly. At the very least, we must kill the two golden Liang cat beast leaders. Kong Shinmu glanced at him and said, I suspect that they're not purely running away, but they've sensed something. There might be other students nearby. If the other students are captured by the leader of the golden beam cat beasts and used to threaten us, the situation will not be good. Threat? Qin Shoji added sarcastically, if the Liang cat beast wanted to kill us, it would be a piece of cake. Why would it need to threaten us? Kong Shinmu, don't you think too highly of yourself? Looks like you're the publicly acknowledged king of bad mouths. That makes sense. Lin Yuji glanced at Qin Shoji and lightly said, but your mouth may be stinky, but what you said is very reasonable. Kong Shinmu, we should go back. They hate me. Kong Shinmu looked in the direction one of the golden Liang cat beasts had escaped and said in a low voice, let's hurry up and go. If they find other students, things will be troublesome. Kong Shinmu was almost certain that the leader of the Liang cat beasts wanted to find other students to threaten him, because he had killed more than 10 Liang cat beasts. Without further ado, he didn't wait for the other 3 and only said goodbye to them before chasing in the direction one of the golden Liang cat beasts had escaped. Lin Yuji and the other 2 looked at each other when they saw that Kong Shinmu had really chased after it. Is this kid telling the truth? Bao Peng was completely baffled. He had thought that Kong Shinmu was just bragging and didn't think that he would really chase after it. Lin Yuji also widened her eyes. She didn't think that Kong Shinmu would really run out. In her surprise, she didn't even have time to stop him. Don't tell me that he wants us to stop him. He's too childish. He hasn't grown up yet. Qin Shoji said hatefully. When he sees that we didn't chase after him, he will come back. Lin Yuji said in a low voice, let's clean up the battlefield first. We can drag these Liang cat beasts' corpses out of the underground karst cave. They planned to deal with the corpses first and wait for Kong Shinmu to come back after thinking it through. But they didn't expect that Kong Shinmu was really chasing after the golden Liang cat beasts with the intention of killing them. In the underground karst cave, Kong Shinmu tailed the aura of the golden Liang cat beasts. At this time, he was very glad that he had cultivated the mystical dragon seeking shadow. It was very useful for tracking opponents in an underground karst cave. Kong Shinmu didn't lose track of the 2 golden Liang cat beasts. It was just that they moved very fast and were quite a distance away from him. He chose to chase after the one closest to him. As for the other one, it seemed to be getting further and further away, but he was only one person and couldn't split himself. He could only chase after one of them and couldn't care less about the other one. I hope Lin Yuji and the rest will listen to me and chase after it. Otherwise, it'll be troublesome. With this thought in mind, Kong Shinmu transformed into a black dragon and advanced rapidly in the underground karst cave. The distance between him and the golden Liang cat beasts was getting closer and closer. Suddenly, the sounds of fighting could be heard coming from a larger cave up ahead. Kong Shinmu quickly flew forward and turned a corner. Sure enough, he saw the golden Liang cat beasts and 3 other silver Liang cat beasts in front of 2 female students. Those 2 female students were 2 of the 16 people in this operation. They formed a team to search for the golden Liang cat beasts in this underground karst cave. In the end, before they could find anything, they were attacked by the golden Liang cat beasts in a frenzy. Fortunately, they had maintained their vigilance and had prepared defensive measures. At this moment, they had transformed into their dragon martial artist forms and executed 2 defensive dragon martial skills, barely managing to block the golden beam cat beast's first attack. But if the golden Liang cat beasts attacked again, the incomparably sharp golden wind blades would completely tear their defenses apart. At this moment, Kong Shinmu finally caught up. His black dragon body instantly appeared in between the golden Liang cat beasts and the 2 female dragon warriors. Countless golden wind blades bombarded Kong Shinmu's body, causing a series of metallic clangs and blood to splatter. At this moment, Kong Shinmu's black dragon body was still stained with blood, but he wasn't actually injured and was in peak condition. Even after suffering this attack from the golden Liang cat beasts, he was only slightly injured and bled a little. It wasn't a big deal at all. But in the eyes of the 2 female dragon warriors, Kong Shinmu's image instantly became taller. Isn't this the heavily injured Kong Shinmu? Why is he here? He even sacrificed his life to save us. Chapter 42-53. Kong Shinmu's timely appearance saved the 2 girls. But even if Kong Shinmu didn't appear, they probably wouldn't die. This golden beam cat beast most likely wanted to capture them to threaten the other students. But no matter what, Kang Xinmu's appearance prevented the situation from worsening. Furthermore, his appearance had already intercepted the golden beam cat beast, leaving it with no way to escape. Void Dragon Sky-Piercing Strike. Kang Xinmu immediately used his strongest attack and attacked the golden beam cat beast. But his current attacking ability was truly lacking, and he couldn't even leave a mark on the golden beam cat beast's body. This undoubtedly made Kang Xinmu feel a little uncomfortable. Fortunately, there were two girls assisting him by the side. "Help, attack it together. As long as we can create a wound on its body, it'll be fine. I can settle it," Kang Xinmu instructed in a deep voice. The two girls were very obedient. Without any hesitation, they immediately followed Kang Xinmu and attacked the golden beam cat beast together. Although their strength wasn't strong, in terms of attack, they weren't much inferior to Kang Xinmu. With the three of them attacking together, the golden beam cat beast finally felt a lot of pressure. The golden beam cat beast dashed left and right in an attempt to escape, but it was a pity that it couldn't do as it wished. Kang Xinmu finally caught up to it, so how could he let it escape just like that? Right at this moment, the two girls joined forces and actually executed a dragon fusion martial technique. Dragon fusion martial technique was executed by the coordination of many dragon martial artists. Its power was naturally much stronger than other individual dragon martial techniques of the same level. However, this type of dragon fusion martial technique required the two people participating in the execution to be mentally connected, and their coordination had to be at the peak for it to work. Otherwise, the execution might very likely fail. At this moment, the two girls possessed this level of coordination. They were usually good friends and joined Donghuang Yangwu College at almost the same time. They also trained together. At this moment, the two divine dragons, one ice and one fire, erupted with horrifying fusion energy. The power of ice and fire condensed into a beam of destructive light, bombarding the golden beam cat beast's weakest point, its stomach. This move finally injured the golden beam cat beast. Fresh blood spurted out and Kang Xinmu's heart skipped a beat. His devouring power followed like a shadow, turning into a pitch-black shadow that corroded the wound of the golden beam cat beast. Without any warning, Kang Xinmu's energy invaded the golden beam cat beast's body. Moreover, this golden beam cat beast didn't have the ability to rapidly heal its wounds. Therefore, Kang Xinmu's pitch-black devouring nirvana energy continued to penetrate into the depths. "It's dead for sure. You guys take care of yourselves," Kang Xinmu said in a deep voice. "All right." The two female dragon warriors, one ice and one fire, immediately nodded their heads. After using the fusion dragon martial skill, their condition had dropped quite a bit. For a moment, they did not have a strong defense. Fortunately, Kang Xinmu was present. Kang Xinmu had already injected countless devouring powers into the body of the golden beam cat beast. To Kang Xinmu, this was already enough to seal his victory. Unfortunately, the golden beam cat beast wasn't aware of this. It could sense that after the two female students used the fusion dragon martial skill, it was injured, but the two girls had lost most of their strength and needed to rest. This made it know that an opportunity had come. It realized that Kang Xinmu's attack couldn't hurt it at all. This made it ferocious. Initially, it felt that Kang Xinmu was a little strange and couldn't be killed no matter how it attacked. But now, since Kang Xinmu's attack was too weak and couldn't hurt it, what was there for it to be afraid of? Immediately after, the golden beam cat beast launched an incomparably fierce attack at Kang Xinmu. Terrifying energy burst out continuously. Golden whirlwinds formed into blades that swept towards Kang Xinmu. If he was facing such a fierce attack, perhaps Kang Xinmu would be helpless and would choose to temporarily avoid it. But now, His devouring power had already entered the golden beam cat beast's body. This allowed him to be completely unrestrained from now on. The golden wind blades swept over and blasted a series of bone-deep wounds on his pitch-black divine dragon's body. The divine dragon's blood splattered everywhere, causing the two female students to feel as though they were about to suffocate. They felt that Kang Xinmu was too noble. He actually stood in front of them alone to let them recover their strength. But soon, they realized that something was wrong. Because no matter how many injuries Kang Xinmu suffered or how much divine dragon blood splattered, it didn't seem to affect Kang Xinmu's movements at all. On the surface, Kang Xinmu seemed to be severely injured, but he was still full of energy and didn't seem to be hindered at all. This situation surprised the two girls. As time passed, they realized that Kang Xinmu was still full of energy. On the contrary, the golden beam cat beast's attacks seemed to be getting weaker and weaker. In fact, they felt that the golden beam cat beast was getting weaker. Not only were its attacks weaker, but its speed was also getting slower. Its entire body was filled with a weak aura. What's going on? The two girls didn't know what was going on at all and were confused. But when they were resting, they were in charge of helping Kang Xinmu deal with the ordinary silver beam cat beasts around them. Therefore, they didn't think too much about it. Now that the situation was tense, they heaved a sigh of relief when they saw that the golden beam cat beast was getting weaker. This battle had already ended when the golden beam cat beast's injuries couldn't be healed. Although Kang Xinmu continued to suffer heavy injuries and was shrouded in unparalleled pain, he was already used to this level of pain and didn't take it to heart. As the devouring power of Nirvana was activated, the golden beam cat beast became weaker and weaker. Its life, flesh, essence, and even the golden wind attribute power in its body were all being devoured by Kang Xinmu. This caused the golden beam cat beast to feel incomparably terrified. It had no idea what was going on with it. It only felt as if its body was being corroded by a unique and strange power, causing its power to be constantly devoured. It was like an endless black hole, causing it to become weaker and weaker. Moreover, its life force was rapidly weakening. When 1/3 of its life essence was absorbed, it finally reacted and wanted to escape. Unfortunately, it was too late. Void Dragon Sky-Piercing Strike. Kang Xinmu targeted the other silver beam cat beasts around him. While these ordinary beam cat beasts were busy defending themselves, he called out to the two girls to attack the golden beam cat beast. Now that the situation was urgent, he didn't want to rely on the devouring power to kill the golden beam cat beast.